On start. It is Wednesday, December 11th, maybe. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, you got me there with the maybe. Yeah, it's Tuesday, live show, but Wednesday when this goes live on Spotify.
That's right. We're jumping back into the year in review after the Hero World Challenge interlude. I think we're gonna get through the Masters this week. This episode. We'll do more on Friday, jumping straight into major season. It's good progress. Let's just do quick up-to-date stuff. I have to acknowledge schedule for the week. With the Grant Thornton Invitational at the Tiburon Golf Club, Greg Norman masterpiece. Maybe Liv CEO, outgoing Liv CEO, Greg Norman. I have some good quotes from him from the Masters this year, coming later in the episode. The Grant Thornton.
He's triple fisting azaleas.
Well, he refers to himself as the boss coming to support his. I'm wondering how many of the players in the Masters would call him their boss. Anyways, but we have the Grant Thornton Invitational at the Tiburon. This is, the mixed event, second year of this. Boutier, Pavone, Nelly, Korda, Finau, if he's able to play. I don't know if we're hearing update yet. Cup show, but
be going to Live if he's not playing. He's going to Live.
That's 1 to 4 Friday, and then a 5 p.m. This gets network television treatment. 5 p.m. finish on Saturday, 4 p.m. finish on NBC on Sunday.
How many times is women's golf on network TV a year? And this is one of them.
Less than 5, maybe, I would say. Some majors, the CME, not a lot of events. So you got that. Then we have PGA Tour Q School presented by Korn Ferry. That is getting Saturday and Sunday weekend coverage on the NBC Sports app and making its way to Golf Channel 3 to 5 and 2 to 4 on Golf Channel. We got some notables for Q School, as you can imagine, just all sorts of names. Shad Tootin, Adrian.
Cast man.
Adrian Demont de Chassart and Berend Botha. I think that's all having to do with, I don't know, I don't know. Tom Whitney, Westmoreland, Billy Tom Sargent, and Tommy Gainey. Those are, the Solicitor Generals, sergeants, and other actual military men. Davis Chatfield, Ches Reavy, and Christo Lamprecht seems to be little guys and big guys. So we get Doughboy, Kevin Doherty, and Alejandro Tosti. So Marty Doe,
Toasted dough,
the toast and the dough. Thomas Walsh, Blaine Hale,
big boys. Those are big boys.
Big boys. Travis Trace Crow, Charlie Ryder, Speed Boys, maybe Race. I don't know. These are some great names. Mules Truly is the last category. Lanto Griffin, Ryan Brem, MJ Defoe, Callum Tarrant, and Richie Werinsky are Mules Truly. That's going on Q School this weekend. Just a weekend dabbling on network or on Golf Channel, I should say, for that. And then last but not least, we have the Alfred Dunhill Championship. This is at your favorite Leopard Creek. Not to be confused with the Dunhill Cup in Scotland, but the South African Dunhill Company taking it to Leopard Creek. This is where the hippos come waddling around, sits on a crocodile river. This is 5 to 10 a.m. All 4 days. I don't know who's in the field for that one. Oosthuizen, Bezuidenhout, Mean Dean, Fratelli, Thirsty Boy. So all the top South Africans, EVRs there, they're all going to play the Dunhill Championship.
I mean, imagine if the PGA Tour played an event that backed up to Yosemite.
There'd be content. It'd be cool. I think. I don't know. Maybe for a minute. It would approach that Black Lava Rock event somewhat. Just like golf on a stunning moonscape kind of thing. Although this would be more natural, I suppose, Yosemite. But that is
I think that Black Lava has got to be natural. At Black Desert.
That would make sense. They're not hauling that in just for aesthetic.
The Masters might want to look at hauling in the black lava the way it befuddled players.
Throw them off.
Out is the pine straw, in is the black lava.
That would be
they just
great.
Super glue the pine trees on top of the black lava.
Be good for foot traffic every once a year, right? Less damp, less moisture. It just
I think
runs
you'd
off
get
the
some
lava rock. Might have some
catastrophic
slip and fall.
injuries.
Wouldn't need the kitty litter on top of the black rock, lava rock.
It was a big kitty litter year last year.
Right. That's right. Other quick news I found interesting. This is a tweet from Flushing It as the free agency season opens up for Liv. Yeah, this is starting to get going. He said Bubba was relegated, but here's what it says. Liv Golf free agency period is active this week. Majority of open zone players have been re-signed, but there are new recruits too. Bubba Watson, who was relegated, is not playing the promotions event and is expected to return as playing captain for the Range Goats GC.
Oh.
Then you're not relegated. What's the word has no meaning. You can't be relegated if you don't have to play the promotions event and you can just return as the playing captain.
Is he still the general manager? Is he the one making the trades? That's what I really care about.
Maybe the problem with Bubba's year was Thomas Peters was jamming him.
I think the players are trading themselves. That's fine. He's back. Just you can't say he was relegated. No, there was zero consequence for anything. So that's it. That's open zone. And then we have news from Bloomberg that Piff is getting closer with a real number that they will invest 6% in PGA Tour Enterprises. You know, we can talk about this for a minute. I know this is an ongoing, everlasting topic. Andy, do you have any thoughts on that? Piff injecting 6% of whatever PGA Tour Enterprises may be.
I think the real question is going to be: is it an investment, or is it an investment plus a agreement of something?
Yeah.
If it's just strictly an investment, then there's potential that they could also invest in the European Tour. They could also continue to run Liv. So I think that's like the bigger. I think the investment is coming.
Right.
That's coming.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how the investment works with the other entities in golf, because there's a potential they could invest money in the European Tour too, and then that merger could be Liv in the European Tour. They're just I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, that's not like the investment is coming. That's maybe notable and newsworthy for the players themselves. For golf fans, like, I don't think that matters much. That moves us not one iota. If all I hear is they're going to invest in the tours and everybody stays apart and everybody's just making more money and there's more billions of dollars, just put all of pro golf on a barge and send it to Antarctica. They're just like, all right, Piff's now included and they're taking money, but the game's still not reunited. Like, worst outcome of all, I would say. Just terrible. Just everybody's lining their pockets, motivation sort of mitigated in a way for some of the guys who need the money or prefer the money, and nobody's playing together. Sounds terrible, but I assume they will eventually come to an agreement to agree and then agree at some point to actually worry about getting the product together and not just investing money for a split divided world of golf to make even more money. That's just the thought. But there's time. Plenty of time to agree.
Can we do a little podcast business?
What do we got?
We've got a winner of our YouTube comment contest.
Who won?
I can't remember. I don't know. I don't have it. You have it.
I do. I don't have anything. I have
PJ
the general substance of
I
who won
do
it.
have it, but I have a lot. Hold on, I'll find it. I pulled it up. I responded to the guy's comment. He has not emailed the sgsgolfadvice@gmail.com yet, but at Big O 8872, quote, driving engagement on a platform where you can't actually withdraw the money is probably the most fitting SGS competition of all time, end quote. Which I don't know if I necessarily disagree with that.
He wins last week's Chaplin bag.
That's good.
We got a new contest this week.
New contest this week. Another Chaplin bag coming up. That's a high quality giveaway. That's not, a couple coasters or a hat, but we do have new hats. We'll talk about those later. But that's a primo event. Why are people saying please explain the coffee mug on the live show? It's a coffee mug my kid gave me for Christmas. We break it out one a year. That's all. Having a little tea. So the Chaplin bag, if you comment, it could be live on a live show. Could be in the comments section after it's been posted. I think everybody's thrown into the same entry. What is that, like $400 value or so? Giveaway? Is it more? Am I short? Like, that's a really good product. Everybody asked me about that bag when I show up. So it's a good bag. Let's get to, should we do year in review? We want to jump right in? Where are we going? What's the first event? Who's up? I think it's Andy going to post.
Andy's up with the
Players
Valspar.
Championship. Yeah.
Valspar.
What do we got? All right.
I think I was like dead this week. I think I died.
Is this coming back from Ireland?
Got back from the Ireland this weekend. Yep. It was pure death. Anyways, so I don't really have any recollection of what happened this week. So this was all news to me.
Okay.
Do you know who won Valspar?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Peppy Peter shoots 67 on Sunday to win by 2 shots over Cam Young.
Oh, Andy, we're just out here playing golf.
Just went up against the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament. Wasn't just shouldn't really probably have a golf tournament that week.
That sounds appropriate. Yep.
So he was 36-year-old, was making his 259th start with only one win at the 2015 Sanderson Farms. So almost 10 years later, he wins. You know, there's a lot of humor with the guy that plays a yellow ball, wins this tournament sponsored by a paint company. Peppy Peter, this punches his first ever appearance at the Masters.
Incredible.
I thought we thought he might be a sleeper at the Masters. Didn't go well at the Masters, but it also gets
at the Masters. I think we were wish casting that. Oh, he's a sleeper. We're just talking to talk that into existence. God, all right. He's going to be the first rookie since Fuzzy. I'm telling you, it's Peppy Peter. We've just been waiting. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Anyways, he also gets into the designated events. Doesn't need like sponsors exemptions anymore. Gets into a slew of designated events. The PGA also, just not a major championship player over the course of his career, has gotten into it. This is a big deal for Peppy Peter. Cam Young had his 7th runner-up. And afterwards, he's asked about like his emotions, how it feels, and he gives just a great answer. Honestly, I realized I wasn't going to win pretty quickly. And I have a 4-hour drive home with a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. So whatever emotions are attached to that.
I mean, that's relatable, that last part, but like, what's he saying? I realized pretty early I wasn't gonna win.
I think he like
it's not like Scottie on a heater.
A charge at the end to get to 2 back. Okay. I didn't look into like exactly why.
No,
I read
we're not going shot by shot on the Valspar. We're just not.
Yeah, the Valspar is pretty light, to be completely honest.
Good.
You know, I think like this was like we had like the designated events are kicking in at this point. I would say that people aren't really thrilled with the designated events or signature events, the no cut cash grabs that they are. And here's this great story. Peppy Peter was like an uplifting story. And then he wins and he gets super emotional in this post round press conference. I'll play it.
You wonder if you're ever going to do it again, you know, because it's hard. And, you know, in the 9 years since my last win, it's gotten a lot harder too. Like, if you look, like, the level of talent out here, guys coming out when they're, 20 years old and they're ready to play on this stage and they're so good. It's just, I mean, you just wonder, like, and so to have this moment, it just feels so amazing. I mean, obviously, my family believes in me. I've got the best caddy. He's been loyal to me for a long time, through a lot of like down times too. I'm just so thankful. I'm just so thankful for my wife. She makes this all possible because life is hard. Like, it's obviously glamorous at times like this, and this is my dream job, and it's absolutely amazing. But life is really, really hard too when you're trying to figure out how to live this lifestyle and have 2 kids and be everything that you want to be. It's really hard, and my wife has been an absolute rock through all of it. She's amazing, and got my mom here. My family's amazing.
All right, that's enough, Peppy Peter.
Peppy Peter became Weepy Peter.
So that it was
It's
kind of like
refreshing a little bit, right? Given all the money talk, like a guy that meant something a little bit, just a win,
yeah. An innocuous, just an inane fact from this event.
Okay.
Justin Ray factoid here. There were 7 Kevins competing in the Valspar Championship, and it set a record for the most Kevins ever to play in the same PGA Tour event.
That's our kind of factoid.
So big Kevin zone.
Okay.
Kevin. Remember we talked about earlier in this year in review how they couldn't get the rookies into tournaments, so they expanded the Valspar field.
Mm-hmm.
So they expanded this, I think, from 144 to 156.
I think that's right. Yep.
Guess what happened on Thursday and Friday?
Darkness suspension.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, it's still end of March, early April. Yeah, late March. God.
Miscut for Jordan Spieth. He hit a shot left-handed that got all of golf Twitter excited.
Sure.
And afterwards, he said, "It's been a weird year."
Okay.
After his first round, it's been a weird year. I've played well. I've had some weird circumstances that have kind of thrown some results out of the window. I had the flu and a cracked driver, just random stuff that's like, so I'm kind of a little uncertain of where things are.
Could say that.
Could say that. We're still pretty uncertain about where things are. Or we're certain where things aren't.
We're certain what is. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
We got new Just a Guy hats. Burnt
We
orange.
do.
I can't
Burnt
wait for
orange.
my burnt orange to come in. American Needle. I like the American Needle fit a little bit more than the Imperial for me.
Are you sure that's the case?
What do you mean?
Are they American Needle? Are you sure?
I think so.
I was looking. I'm not sure they are.
It might be Imperial. Who knows? Who could say?
They could. I'm not sure. Apologies if they are. I
think they are American Needle.
Not the no. Not it does not.
I
say
thought
that.
I asked that.
It could be. It's not. It's not spelled out in the burnt orange edition. The other ones we have out with the normal FE logo are this one. Great with FE logo. These are amazing. American Needle, the red tag. But we have Just a Guy hats in burnt.
I think so. You're either an American Needle fit or an Imperial fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
There's a Rick Gaiman tweet about JT.
Okay.
Justin Thomas lost 7 strokes putting today. In one day, 7.
That's crazy.
By far the worst putting round of his career. He had 38 total putts. He made 22 feet, 10 inches of putts in one round. Think about that. It's like an average of like 1.1 feet of putts per round. So he goes on. He made a 2-foot 9-inch putt on the first hole, and he didn't make anything longer than that the rest of the day.
That's crazy. That's feels incomprehensible, impossible to do. Like you have to make a 5-footer or something. 4-footer.
Like every hole he makes, like basically like a 6-inch putt.
Sure.
Basically, every hole is like made a 4-inch putt, 6-inch putt.
Yeah.
So again, more evidence of should be a broom putter.
Okay.
Should try it. He needs to try it.
Okay.
John Rahm did his Masters pre-conference Zoom thing.
Yeah.
PJ, you got his menu, right?
Yes. Yes.
So this is like every year they have announced the menu. He's got a lot of Spanish inspired dishes. People are very worried about the spice level, what he might be doing to some people.
Cootie.
He's got like chorizo. He's got a chicken dish, but everybody's worried about the heat that it could be bringing. He goes in. It's very clear he's been watching a lot of golf. Besides being at all the locales of the golf tournaments, he's been watching a lot of golf. He noted the strong play from Scottie Scheffler. He admitted that he didn't think his game was as strong as it was last winter. There's his menu, so you can look at that.
Or not.
Little ribeye.
Okay.
All kinds of stuff. It was an elite dish, though. We're gonna go back to like just steak and potatoes with Scheffler this year.
Oh yeah.
When he was asked about not being able to play against Scottie, he said, "I feel like my game is in a really good position. I haven't played my best yet, but I can see every tournament getting a little bit better. My game is trending in a really good direction. Not that I'm playing bad. I've been in contention pretty much every week, but it could be better than what it is right now." So kind of saying without saying he's not playing well, which was very clear in the beginning of the part of the year. What's interesting, I thought this was actually interesting, and it made me think about like, why don't I can't imagine a lot of players like there isn't like, you think about like sports, everybody watches film after the week, and I've never heard of like players like watching film of themselves. So here's what he said. So he said, watching the highlight film of his win, I couldn't help to think, man, I missed a lot more shots than I thought I did, which I guess is a good lesson to have in mind, right? Not only that I could play better in theory, but the fact is there's a mental lesson there. It's just mainly you're just going to miss shots out there, and you have to figure out how to minimize the damage.
That's interesting.
Right? Like,
yeah.
I just was thinking about it. It's like I've never heard of professional golfers being like, I rewatched my tournament. I think it's because there's not like, I wonder, could they get film if they ask the PGA Tour, I want film of all my shots? Do you think they could get it?
That'll be $75 a minute plus tax. Yeah. I don't know.
Might be worth it.
So? Yeah. I think the one Rory said he watched one of his wins before going back to like, I want to say Liverpool or Valhalla, one of those, just to, I think, feel good vibes maybe. But this is like a real sort of, he extracted kind of an insight from watching it again. That's interesting. And in the moment, when Rahm hits a loose shot, he thinks, it's kind of like he reacts, right? You can feel it like this is the end of the world. And that's a good insight to take, right? Maybe to make you better the next time you go into it, or more equal, or balanced. So.
I imagine like a tennis player probably watches film. That would be super instructive, right? When you're playing, like they have to be getting ready for other players. Yeah, golf might be like the only sport where you don't watch film.
Yeah, I think they watch the swing film, but they don't watch game film, quote unquote, like you'd say. Yeah.
I don't know. I think there could be some bad stuff from watching film, but there's probably a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're in your own bubble when you're playing and you don't really think about stuff. Yeah. You know what also happened this week?
What?
We had the Piff PGA Tour Policy Board Bahamas meet and greet.
Down in Albany, right? Or around there. Yeah.
This was Pepe Peter week. Do you remember his quote about Yasser?
No. Why would I remember? No, I don't. He's a great guy. Loves golf.
He said it was like talking to another human being.
As opposed to a Martian? That's a good quote.
It was like talking to another human being. Webb talked a lot about it. He said it definitely seems like he's envisioning a place in the game of golf. That's great. We didn't get as far as what he wants, and what does Liv want? So what did you talk about?
They were just putting a face to the name, as they said at the end of Players Week last year. What's this guy look like? Is he a human?
He certainly seems engaged enough in the game already that he has desires to see the game grow globally. I think it's fair to say, and he mentioned growing it in Saudi to try and do that. What was interesting is in going there was to learn about who he is and what he's thinking. Simpson continued. What he's thinking, but you don't know what he's thinking about Liv?
Yeah.
Or what he wants? Learn about Liv more. What was your intention and hope there? How's it going? All that kind of stuff. A meet and greet and learn. I think he wanted to learn from us kind of what we think, what we wanted to figure out, what he thinks. Just
like it could have been a Zoom or a conference call.
Well, meet and greet in Albany.
All right. Love
Doug
that.
Ferguson reports the Olympics will likely feature mixed team golf event starting in 2028. I didn't do any research on this.
I forgot about that.
I didn't hear anything about this afterward.
Yeah. Did they supplement that around the Olympics? Maybe. I guess we'll get to that. Huh. That'd be fun.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Players ratings came out.
Okay.
Not good.
First great event of the year. Real great event. Yeah. Right? I don't know.
NBC saw the lowest Sunday final round audience for the event at TPC Sawgrass since 2014. Whoa. When 3 million viewers saw Martin Keimer hold off Jim Furyk. NBC drew 3.53 million viewers on Sunday, down sharply from 4.14 last year when Scheffler won by 5.
Huh. What is it? They ran into Selection Sunday. I remember that. But doesn't account for the whole rating.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they talked a lot about it. I mean, it's like, could it be cord cutting? Could it be genuine lack of interest, tired, fatigue from golf civil war, all these things. Yeah. This is the start of the Nelly streak, really. It's her second win. She wins in a playoff in LA. That was like a crazy tournament. The wind was gusting like 40. So she wins in a playoff. She made birdie on the first playoff hole to win, and that gets her to 2 wins in a row. Golf Week reports that Angel Cabrera's visa has been temporarily declined, and the former Masters champion will not be making a valiant return from the slammer. The quote is more from his agent, Manuel Tagle. More information has been requested and will be provided to the embassy shortly. A final decision on the visa will take no less than 8 to 10 weeks, and he will not be at the Masters. Obviously, he made his valiant return to the Champions Tour. Little Champions Tour minute
he
here.
He did.
That he did.
Did he get out of Q school or whatever it was?
No, he did not. He did not come in the top 5. So it's going to be
he's not exempt?
You would think maybe
he won 2 majors.
Not exempt.
What?
Sorry, hate to break it to you.
What is the Champions Tour? Isn't the point of it for these stars of yesteryear?
You got saved.
He won 2 majors.
Yeah, he had to go to Q school. Did not
kind of crazy.
Did not make it through.
God, what a disaster!
Sorry,
I
hate to break that to you. I thought you knew. Well,
I mean, let's be honest. And in the end, might be avoid some uncomfortable discussions. All right. What else do you have from Valspar Week?
I got a couple more things.
Okay.
Very short, brief, abbreviated thing. There's not a lot happened.
Sure.
David Faraday talked to Michael Bamberger on a video feature.
Mm-hmm.
And Bamberger asked him why he left NBC for Liv, and he said, "Money.
Money.
People don't talk about it. I hear, well, it's to grow the game. Bullshit. They paid me a lot of money."
I remember him being very candid. I don't remember the precise language. That's funny.
Rory appeared on the Explorations podcast.
Oh, Roy Sabatini, Roy McIlroy.
Roy McIlroy.
Okay. From Northern Ireland. Okay.
Oakland beat Kentucky, for any Kentucky fans out there wanting to dig up that memory.
I was there.
Calipari's last game. Yep. And then I said, you went to the tournament.
I did.
Who was the guard for Oakland?
Jack Golke.
Jack Golke.
My kids still ask, like, is he in the NBA? They're like, my kids, this guy might be the greatest basketball player of all time. My kids who saw that game. They're like, who's he playing for in the NBA? It's like, son, he's like selling insurance.
Jack Golke.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
For Valspar week.
Love it. Moving on from Valspar week. It is holiday season. One thing you could gift to the loved ones in your life without cluttering up the house. This is my big thing. Experiences, tickets, paper, valuable things that don't accumulate junk. You don't need a fifth pair of gloves and all this other bullshit. Give them a free full bag fitting to Club Champion. This is a way. Don't give the golfer you want some garbage golf balls, the bad gag gift. This is a substantive gift. You go to clubchampion.com, use the promo code Fried Egg. You get $100 full bag fitting or a $50 fitting for any other fitting type with a club purchase. That's a great value. For them right now this year, Black Friday-ish, going into holiday season. It's $100 full bag fitting or $50 with any other fitting with the promo code Fried Egg. You got 65,000 hittable head and shaft combos, 120 plus studios nationwide, master fitters. Fitted golfers find over 20 extra yards off the tee on average. Now is the time. Like Rory says, and we could all model ourselves after Rory. We're getting closer to his game. This is the time to work on it, because once you get into May, June, the schedule doesn't allow it. You want to play. You want to get tournament reps. So now's the time to get in the lab, work on it, and use that promo code Fried Egg at clubchampion.com for the $100 full bag fitting and a good gift option. Just print it out, give them a piece of paper. So here you go.
Here's your appointment. It's a great gift.
It's a great gift. You're doing it. I'm making you do it. All right, let's move on.
Underrated putter fitting.
Underrated. I got that stability shaft.
Honestly, get the ball rolling a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Get it to stop skidding. You're gonna putt better.
Something to just try different looks, different feels. Yeah, it's a good thing. All right, let's go to Houston. So we're going from Valspar to Houston. Little Peppy Peter cleanup in his, he's the toast of the town. He gets a press conference, all these things, because he's the star of the show. He has a Masters exemption, but this was the Monday after. He doesn't know when the Masters is.
Wait, what?
I'll probably accept that. Oh, that's good. Probably. I'll probably accept that invitation and go play the Masters, which would be really, really, the realization of another childhood dream. Yeah, I guess, that's cool. It hasn't sunk in yet at all because, I'm going to be there when is it? And the moderator has to jump in. It's in 3 weeks, Peter. 3 weeks? Wow. That's pretty cool. So, that's great. But again, it's amazing. So he said, pretty cool. Yeah, that's great. But again, just to reiterate, that's amazing. So he went cool, great, amazing. He's just using a lot of words to say the same thing. So that's a cleanup.
Did Tosti peak this week?
I'm getting to that. Tosti went mainstream. He went from the little hipster joint to selling out the stadium shows. Dan Hicks, he's college coach, is on Golf Channel. We're going to get there. Peppy Peter is doing his press conference on why his win resonated. I think people are just sick of the narrative in golf being about contracts on Liv, purses on the tour, guaranteed comp on the tour. I think people are so sick of that. No kid dreamed when they were watching Jordan of having his salary. They didn't care about that. They dreamed of being in that moment, hitting that shot. I think that's what our fans care about too, and that's what they want to see. So that's him talking about why people are sick of it. Somewhat relatedly, the ratings come out from Valspar. People weren't into that either. They averaged 1.86 viewers for Peter Malnati's win at the Valspar Championship on Sunday. We lost PJ. Are you back? You
back.
okay?
I'm
all right.
Load in all of our visual assets and my computer.
You closed the window out.
Yeah.
So Pepe says people are sick of it. And then the Valspar ratings come out down 27% over Taylor Moore's win. So 2 years ago, down a bunch, even more than 27%. So that's the ratings that come out. The ratings.
Well, you know what?
Continue.
What we get because of this, these ratings.
What?
You know what was created to fix this?
What?
The Creator Council.
Another council will fix just another council.
Not the Fan Council, the Creator Council.
But not the transaction subcommittee. This one's a council.
It also contains members that, just 2 weeks ago thought the tour had a ploy against them.
The Bryan brothers conspiracy now are on the council, the high council. Maybe that's what maybe they strong arm their way into the council. Maybe they by force, by tweeting, they've wind their way onto the council. I've yet to understand what it is or what the effect will be.
Sounds like the people on the council don't really know what it is.
No. Hearing some individual agitated for it, and then people were asking, I don't know. But I mean, I guess maybe they're looking for rights, but then I don't know if I'm NBC or Scratch or whoever these are that have the rights. I might throw my body in front of that for paying millions of dollars for it. I have no idea what the council is, but I'm amused by it. Everybody wants a Creator Council. All right, so the Valspar ratings are down. March 29th, this week, we posted Friday Golf posts the job opening. That would eventually become the man in the middle, right on your screen, nice. PJ Clark. A momentous week for the Friday Golf and the shotgun start happened. The job opening was posted. It was not for the role you are in right now, but we made our way there. We got there. We ham and egged it, and you are here because of the posting that happened this week. All right, one I forgot about. Real highlight of the year, quite honestly. Ratings are shit. Everybody's making a ton of money. These guys are winning signature events. Everybody's making hand over fist money. Chris DeMarco does an interview on the Subpar podcast. He says, quote, "We're kind of hoping that Liv buys the Champions Tour.
I remember this.
Let's play for a little real money out here."
It's amazing.
I mean, this is kind of a joke when we're getting $2 million. Again, this was before PJ came on the scene and gave the Champions Tour real life and some boost. This is kind of a joke when we're getting $2 million. There were 7 guys last week at TPC Sawgrass that made more money than our purses. Says we're hoping Liv buys the Champions Tour. And so people are just somehow, some way in the year 2024, Chris DeMarco became the main character in all of golf for a 3-day stretch. People just tore him to shreds. The Champions Tour is absolute just weight around the neck of the tour. Just hemorrhages money. There is no.
I think they lose $65 million a year.
So he says,
well, that might be a bargain for Liv.
The people are furious. And he says, complain about $2 million purses. The fact, and I wrote this, I think, that he said the fact that he could say what he did about wishing Liv would buy the tour, could play for Liverpool, it seemed completely believably, perfectly encapsulates how many golfers have acted the past few years, and that's sad. The Astros and the Cranes start pouring money into, or have been, right? They've been really supporting this event. So there's increased build-outs, increased promotion, proved spot on the schedule, had been a fall series event for a minute there. But it comes with a new 17th hole. We get word Tom Doak was out there all summer. Remember, this was the hole in the preceding
people are hitting
year,
wedges off the
wedge, yes, 9-iron, and then a 200-yard shot into the group.
Other people would go for it.
Well,
it was amazing.
Yeah,
people would go for it too.
he created more of a landing zone, a little bit of room behind it, like literally for this 1 week event, right from this tee box. But it made it a little harder for the Muni player, because the green was still firm and the water came in behind the green. Like people are like bounding it because they're higher handicaps. But then, so he does this on purpose, like out there a bunch, spending money, redoing it. And then the tour just builds a giant backboard coming 50 yards up that like just nullifies like essentially any of the risk or any of the decision. Now the wind was like wet. I remember like the wind played out. We had a good on-site intel from this. They closed it to like help this. The green was already harder. There was memos about like this green is going to be more firm. They said that it's been totally tourified from our source. They'll be more enticed to go for it. There'll be the warm embrace of a trademark PGA Tour backboard running 50 yards up the fairway. Doak redid this hole. This is testimony from the ground. Doak redid this hole this summer to make guys go for it more, but these bleachers are unreal. Guys will just be blasting it into them. So that's the deal. Monahan is down there. He addresses the media. Did I send you this asset, PJ, for Houston? Because I have to send it. So Monahan's down there.
I don't think I have.
I
don't have anything from Jay.
Oh no!
Send it to him real quick.
Yeah, get it to me.
I gotta find it. I think I actually pasted it the wrong way. Orbit, the Astros mascot, is standing over his shoulder as Monahan is seriously trying to talk. Do you have this, PJ?
I can find it. I saw it come up on
Dylan DeShare had the original tweet. If you find it from Dylan DeShare, just an incredible visual as Monahan is very seriously, I think, with a crane, Jim Crane, one of the billionaire, trying to talk about the tour. Apparently, he was getting popped all week. Like the tour players were getting very angry at him. He's in Houston. He's having like this. He's in a suit and tie, and you've got this Orbit standing in the frame over his shoulder, just making it look like a complete circus. One of the great visuals of the year. This week had a lot more than I recall with DeMarco. That image really cracked me up. One of the best. What else did we have this week besides the backboarding? We get word that Tim Mickelson is retiring. That just happened. You know, like nobody. That used to be a big deal. Tiger switched caddies and Phil switched caddies in like a month span, and it was just like I don't know.
I didn't even bring up the Tiger's new caddy on in Riviera week.
Lance Bennett, is it? John Yarbrough will caddy, longtime caddy for Scott Stallings, real Scott Stallings.
Not the one that got invited to the Masters. God, I can't believe we didn't hear from the fake Scott Stallings this year.
I know. Not much. The PGA of America.
I can't believe that was Blocky lived 2 years and that guy only lived 1.
Speaking of Blocky, this was opening day in Major League Baseball this week, which was cause for the PGA of America to reheat Blocky throwing out a first pitch. Like just looking for any kind of lift, squeezing blood from a stone, looking for a little Blocky lift. And Tron popped this like, I can't believe I'm defending Blocky, but here we are because you guys insist upon forcing him upon us at every turn. This picture is 10 years old, and it's Blocky in a white belt with like a flavor say like a little goatee. It's like, when did the PGA of America get so damn thirsty? So just there's the picture of Orbit just looking down at Jay.
That's a good one.
I'm sorry. That was my favorite visual aid of the whole research, Brett. I didn't have it for you.
I wish Orbit had been at your kid's football game.
I love that Orbit's wearing a Hogan cap. Like he's into it.
He's got Argyle going. What is Jay trying to talk seriously? He's got this big goon looking down at him. So good. So yeah, the PGA of America gets thirsty with the Blocky content because it's opening day. Steven Yeager gets the permanent call up from 4A and wins. This was, we just talked about Monday, as if you're listening to this real time, about speed being a commodity, right? Speed merchants was a term you used a lot, Andy. This is from Joseph Lamagna in the newsletter. He was Yeager speed trained with Mike Carroll in 21-22. He was 97th on tour at 172 miles an hour. The next year, he went to 72nd on tour to 175.3. This year, he's gone from to 177.2, ranked 50th on tour. And on Sunday at Houston, He averaged 325.8 yards per tee shot, fourth longest of the final round. He was often well past the lawn-hitting Scottie Scheffler off the tee. Not so subtle representation of the work Jaeger's put in over the past year. So relevant sort of to what we just talked about, right?
Jaeger's the Scottie stopper.
He was. So this week we had Nelly going for, I think, 3 in a row, and Scottie going for 3 in a row, and Jaeger puts the Heisman stiff arm up. Scottie this week, Scottie's first non-under par round of the year. Again, we're on March 29th. What he needed was he 3-putted from inside 6 feet to double his last hole to shoot even. So it wasn't over par, just his first non-under par round with a 3-putt for double inside 6 feet. First non-under par round of 24. Nelly wins 3 in a row she won the Ford Championship, which, like, I don't know, doesn't sound like a good event. It was rainy. It was Gilbert, Arizona. I don't know why Ford sponsored it, but she won pretty easily. This was Bryson DeChambeau. This was before he was a content creator, but before he really took off. Filmed an entire anti-rollback video that turned into the strongest argument possible for
I
rollback.
forgot about this.
I almost have to read Will Knight's article in full. There were so many details about this. On Thursday, released a YouTube channel video to his YouTube channel. He played 9 holes in what could be an example of technology we'll see in a rolled back golf ball. He used the Nike One Tour, a golf ball originally released in 2009. Everyone would agree is inferior to today. The video was filmed front 9 Dallas National, 3,600 yards from the Texas tee. He's hoping to demonstrate why rollback should not happen. Instead, over the course of 9 holes, he unwittingly but thoroughly shows exactly why rollback is a good idea. This is one of Will Knight's best pieces of content. It's so good. It's also filled with incessant complaints about the golf ball and nonstop bitching about its performance. Well, yeah, it's an 2009 Nike One Tour, and you've been coddled for this is how you came up. Makes it clear that he may not always know what he's talking about when it comes to equipment and performance. Running diary of his round. On the second hole, he seems to advocate for lesser technology. Normally, I hit it on the heel with my other golf ball, and it would not miss that far left. With my other golf ball, that would have flown dead straight. Okay, that's the testimony. That ball started left and went left. There's definitely something to say with golf ball compression. Will says, I'm not sure he understands what compression means. Playing downhill, 172-yard par 3. He says, I'm going to play a 160-yard shot. This thing is probably only going to go like 150. I'm playing it 20 yards downwind. The ball flies 152. And he says, oh, that ball is flying so weird. After hitting driver wedge into the long par 5 second hole. So again, driver wedge with the old ball and making a bad bogey because of a poor chip. He's even. On the par 4 fifth hole, he says, I can shoot under par today. That shouldn't be too difficult. This may come as a shock to some of you, but professional golfers didn't even make birdies with old equipment and technology. That's from Will. Tiger Woods won 6 times in 2009 with the Nike One Tour. Let's get back to Bryson. So he has a monologue on compression. Because the ball is going shorter and it's softer, it's not compressing, or it's compressing too much. The ball is not curving as much, consequently, as well. So I'm used to the ball flying a certain distance with a certain amount of curve to it. When it's going short, it's not curving as much. He points to his drive. So normally that ball would go farther and curving more, which would bring it back to the center. So I'm having to adjust to this golf ball from a curvature perspective. This is wild. Just basic physics. He highlights a huge selling of the rollback. A ball that goes shorter distances will stay closer to the center, which can help high handicappers mitigate distance losses. I'm hitting it not that bad, but the ball is going way off my line compared to what normal curvature should be with the ball I'm currently playing with. On the 452-yard par 4, he makes a birdie on this hole. If I hit a good drive, I'll have a wedge in. So he does. He has a Nike. He hits with the Nike. He hits at 182, carries 320 with the Nike ball, leaving him 133 yards. Again, it's 452-yard hole. He has 133 in. This is the quote of the day. His wedge rolls off the back. This thing rolled 30 yards. It's 15 mile per hour downwind with the wedge shot out of the first cut. That's completely uncontrollable. Reminder, Tiger Woods won 6 times in one season with this golf ball.
Amazing.
Uncontrollable. That's his definitive judgment. He had 2 drives off the 7th tee with Nike One, Titleist One dash, left dash, sorry. Pro V1 left dash. 187, 315, 192, 331. I hit that first ball perfectly right on the screws. Then he says the left dash, the one that again went 331, 16 yards farther, says the left dash, I actually thinned it pretty poorly. It had 5 more power ball speed, less spin, and flew that much farther. So he thinned it, hit it 16 yards farther. Again, more evidence that you could or should be a rollback. His last haul of the day, he hit 185, 329 carry with the left dash, 179, 309. So 20 yards shorter with the Nike One Tour.
Crazy.
He laughs, 179 mile ball speed, 6 miles an hour slower. That's wild. Yeah, I don't want to roll back golf ball. That's ridiculous. And then he had another wedge. Says, after seeing everything, do you really want to roll back golf ball? I really wouldn't want it. So again, calling the ball uncontrollable, showing that it's like it goes left, starts left, goes more left. When he thins it, it goes 20 yards farther. Just like, and he was trying to prove that we don't need a rollback, the whole exercise. So that became a big one. This was a big DLF week, won by Kaita Nakajima. Shot 73, which was a good score at DLF, and won on Sunday by 4 shots. Absolutely destroying people. Rasmus Højgaard made a 9. The Hero Indy Open was golf's glorious madness, as we call the compilation from the DP World Tour. They did a video asking all the players I think an 18 handicap shoot.
Yes.
And they're all just like
18, what's that? 90, 120.
I think I can easily see 80 for myself. I think we're close to 150, maybe 160. It's such a difficult course.
It's going to be a handful of holes you're probably not making the cover. You've been laying up onto other tee boxes. It may be like a DNF, do not finish.
120? No, 115, I'm saying.
In a stroke play, counting them all, it's gotta be over. It's gotta be 3 digits, over 100.
I don't think they're gonna make it around if they don't bring plenty of balls. I think it's too tough for them.
At best, 100.
So they should really shoot 90, but yeah, I'm gonna go 120.
So it's 105.
So that's
because it's on steroids, this course.
DLF
just punching these guys in the face. They said they're laying up the tee boxes.
I recently met a guy. I met a guy at Tom Doak's event who's like an Indian golf connoisseur.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you played DLF? He's like, what do you want to know about DLF? I'm like, everything. I would like to know everything you know. He's like, I live like a mile away. Anytime you want to come, I will take you out to DLF.
So yeah, you won't make it around. You'd be laying up to tee boxes, playing from other tee boxes. Guys are just getting crushed. It's narrow. It's hard. Gary Player, I think, is on to us. I think he understands we've been talking about DLF. He gives a vigorous defense of the bunkers, the foam rolled bunkers. And here's his reasoning. My favorite bunkers! ! They prevent the ball from plugging in the face, reduce maintenance costs, especially after rain, and you can make them any color you want. And in my opinion, they are aesthetically pleasing. All the best to those playing in India. So everybody has fun. They color code the rolls. They start making it rainbow rolls. Like, he loves that you can make them any color you want. So a vigorous defense of the bunkers by Gary Player. Monty chimes in. Monty, watching the DP World Tour, as the great one does. He says it's architecturally looks magnificent. It appears to be manicured to perfection. Well done to all.
It is architectural perfection.
They brought the bumblebee out, the short little bumblebee out for a tall pin demonstration. Not really doing him any favors, just trying to make him look more miniature than
honestly.
He is. They have a tall pin on 17, I believe. I know you hate those double pins, the extra aimer. But yes, they brought him out for that. So DLF just yielded tons of content. Gary Player defending the bunkers, which I think he knows they've just become a subject of derision and fascination lately. Rachel Heck this week announces she's going pro in something other than sports, private equity. Just going to save the world in
It was
private equity.
Heartfelt story.
No, I mean, look, she's a great amateur player and had a real decision, and she's not going to play. This was a big essay on NLU. There was this is my source from the ground. There was a big yardage book scandal on the DLF because caddies so they didn't make the right yardage book. It was just a mess. Everybody had to make their own personal adjustments. And this is my source said, you go around this golf course every year, people say, it's okay, it's getting better, it's only growing on them, they're used to getting around. But he says it's absolute insanity. The hints of Gary player are everywhere. They'll say this is the greatest course in this part of Asia. Well, clearly Gary's never played it. Just gets crushed by some of the caddies on site and players. I don't know. I couldn't find this. We had an unsubstantiated rumor about Monahan's presence in Houston. There was something, I don't know. He was getting yelled at in Houston by somebody. We had a golf
I remember
advice,
that.
right? He was trying to save face on something in Houston. And then he got a press conference with Orbit. This is the week Alejandro Tosti goes mainstream. His college coach is on Golf Channel doing interviews. Dan Hicks compares him to Jose Altuve, which just feels so simplistic. What? They're short. I don't know. He's all over the broadcast. He gets into it. John Wood is the walking reporter with him and Finau. It's ice cold out here. Tosti makes him walk it off. Began when the playing partners dispute over who was away on the fourth green. Thomas Dietrich helped confirm that Tosti was away. So a third party rules that it helps, but Tosti was still displeased, sat behind his ball for more than a minute for renewing the discussion and ultimately getting Finau to move his mark. So that was one, moving your mark. They made Finau walk off who was farther away. So Tosti just goes super mainstream. It's just 3 holes in a row. But then he trolls him. It's Wood is you could cut the tension with a knife out here. He's smirking. It's the visual is Tosti's not big and Tony's longer. He's looking up at him, just smiling while he's stirring the pot and shit-eating grin. And then he trolls him after the round, posts it to Instagram. What a great day out there. Incredible fun. Great company. And it's just him and Tony standing side by side. After this became sort of the story of the day.
It's the best tweet.
Tactics. It's pretty good. Pretty good. We had a discussion that I said it feels like he's going to stick on tour. It's been an up and down. And Andy says, I'll tell you what. I think he's got the President's Cup, is what you said. He's got the President's Cup potential. I say he's going to stick. You say he might be going to the P Cup. I don't know that it's played out precisely.
I think they should have had him on the P Cup team. Would have done better than some of the Canadians.
That might be true.
Would you rather have had Mackenzie Hughes or Tosti?
I mean, tomato. I mean, for content, Tosti.
I think for just the locker room.
Good locker room?
Yeah, he would have really pushed the locker room.
Would have given Camilo a task for the week. So his coach goes on TV. He goes, he's not scared of anyone. This is at the Finau going back and forth. And they're in contention. Tosti finishes a shot out of a playoff with Jaeger. He's playing his ass off in contention. Says he's not scared of anyone. It's war out there for him. I think that rubs some people the wrong way. And maybe that came out a little bit today, JC Deacon said. And you relay, you've been sitting on this one for a little bit. Really, maybe the number one all-time Tosti tales. There's a lot of candidates, but I think this is a clear one about the rental car situation. How he distrusts rental cars. We have visual of his little green, I think Chevy Spark from Victoria National the year before. We're why is he in the big check in the back of it?
It's coming up.
And nobody could know, why does he have that car? Why is the check in it? And you tell the story. You can retell it here and paraphrase it, but what's his deal? He doesn't like rental car companies.
He believes rental cars are a scam. He doesn't trust them. So he purchased 3 cars, situated them strategically across the country. And in his years on the Korn Ferry Tour, that year on the Korn Ferry Tour, he might be going back. He might be going back to the cars. he bought these cheap cars.
There's the Chevy Spark. I mean, it can fit in the palm of your hand.
and he what he
Lime green.
does, he would be flying from one tournament not to the next tournament, but rather wherever his car was parked, getting in his car and then driving to the tournament. So like he'd fly to the closest parked car and then drive from there.
Which could be like 4 hours away. You're like Chicago to Indianapolis or something like that. That's not, it's not necessarily around the corner. So you relay that.
Love that story.
The Tosti profile takes a huge jump this week. He finishes a shot out. Scottie misses like a 7-footer, burn like just low, and Jaeger wins on 18. Couple other odds and ends. It got really crowded, like a million guys in the running. People were worried like it's too crowded. There was a chance someone was going to win that we hadn't watched for like 2 hours. Like NBC could not keep up because it got too crowded leaderboard. There was a thing on a McAfee show. These are odds and ends. Nuclear Golf said the block party continues. Michael Block has accepted a special invite to the Masters.
What?
If
Can
we were
Block
only
claim
so
his
lucky.
first?
That's April Fool's Day.
I think it was like a Photoshop. Yeah, and everybody went nuts on Blocky going to the Masters for Nuclear Golf. But people were confused, like, oh my God. Justin Thomas is seen as Madison Square Garden. We had the beer chugging in Whistling Straits. So he does it. They put him on the big screen. He's got a full beer. It takes some time. There's a lot of spillage, and he kind of got roasted on the internet for the beer chugging at Madison Square Garden, which I felt bad for. I mean, they're doing a Jimmy Fallon or Colbert or something. I'm not sure why. It's kind of a random week to do that. This is odds and ends. The women's NCAA tournament had 2 different 3-point lines in Portland. They had the wrong distance, which everybody went nuts. And you declare a mortal enemy for the rest of your life. The Illinois takes it on the chin in a 30-0 run. UConn goes on a 30-0 run, I believe, against Illinois. You say UConn is whooping our ass, but I respect that. Having said that, Dan Hurley is an a-hole, and I will root against him the rest of my life.
That's right.
So this is
Still,
Houston Open.
Hate to see Hurley off to a slow start this year.
Tough one. Acting like a complete lunatic in Maui. Yeah.
Headbutting his I got a story about how he treats his walk-ons. He just is
not well.
Not well. Just a complete asshole to the walk-ons.
So yeah, you guys, I mean, it was a good game and then it wasn't. I think it was a 30-0 run, I believe. This was Sweet 16 or Elite 8. It was
Fred, under our coach's strategy was to challenge Klingon.
Yeah.
At the rim.
Everyone,
I think he blocked like every shot, and now he's in the NBA. And he's got like
he's like the 4th overall pick. Yeah,
he's got like a historic early sides are like historic block percentage. Like one of the most prolific shot blockers in the history of the NBA on his current pace. And that's what our coach was like. We're gonna go. Yeah. We're gonna go at the rim. And touch this guy at the rim. It was like when Klingon wasn't in the game, it was like a good matchup. When he was, it was just a disaster. Yeah. It reminded me a little bit of when we played UNC in the NCAA championship and Sean May. It was like when Sean May was in the game, we had no chance.
Yeah.
When he was not in the game, we were better than them.
Yep. That does Houston Open week. Let's go to Valero. Stay in Texas. I think PJ is coming in out of the bullpen for Valero Texas Open.
This was a bevy of content. A lot going on this week. Because there was not only Valero, there was Anwa, which was very, very good. And then also Liv Miami.
Anwa.
I don't know, man.
Anwa.
This is good. This is a hot start already. All right. So Valero. Perhaps the biggest news of the week.
Anma.
We start 2 months after tearing his Achilles. Bernard Langer is back.
You would lead with Champions Tour content on your first.
He's chipping and putting, and he's back. So this is perhaps the biggest news of the week. We'll start there. Obviously, everybody knows.
Aaron Rodgers definitely saw this, right?
What is that shirt? Is that like a racing? It looks like an F1 uniform.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a start. Also this week, NYGC is announced with an official press release, quoting us as the following. Quote, New York is synonymous with world class, and its golf scene is no exception. Steeped in the history of the sport with some of the greatest and most iconic courses in the world, NYGC is ready to build upon its rich legacy of golf and redefine what it means to be a golf club, representing a city known for its constant reinvention. That's all one sentence. NYGC is excited to represent the tri-state area in this innovative and accessible version of the sport. So then they put out a little quote card for every player on the team. I like Xander's the best here. Quote, I've built my career on a foundation of hard work, grit, and determination, which couldn't better reflect the people of New York City. When I think of New York, I immediately think of Xander Schauffele.
San Diegan.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. Lot of Greg Norman this week as Liv comes back to the United States. They're playing in Miami. He goes on the Australian Today show and they choose some very interesting photos of Greg to promote his
for the audio. Elaborate, PJ, for the audio listeners that aren't watching.
Greg cemented the picture, potentially focusing on his third leg. As he's
showing it on TV.
Yeah, yes, this is on television.
All right.
So there's a lot of Greg this week. Greg has some quotes calling Taylor Gooch the best iron player in the game of golf in the past 20 years that he has personally witnessed.
All right, well, that's a nice qualifier. He's never seen like Tiger play in early 2000s?
No,
personally?
So
all right.
Congrats to Talor from Greg. Also, as Liv looks forward to the next week at the Masters, the annual Liv Masters group photo is published by Sergio Garcia that then everybody goes and clowns on Twitter. If you're watching on YouTube, you get a good look at some, I would say, Sergio's wardrobe. We'll get into that next week. Gets a little bit more adventurous than in this photo, but everybody is hanging out there. In actual golf news, the big story of the early week before play gets started in at the Valero is that Rory went to see Butch Harmon after the Players. For a 4-hour lesson or second opinion. There's a lot of back and forth on, is Rory working with Butch or did he just go one day? But that was big.
Rory, did it go
in? He gets asked before the Valero. He said, I've done this a number of times in my career. I met Butch when I was 14 years old, and we've always had a good relationship. If there's one guy that I want to go get a second opinion from, it's him. I think after the Players and just struggling through that Florida swing with my swing and some of the misses I was having with my irons, I thought to myself, I'm obviously missing something here, and I would just love to go get a second opinion and have him look at a second set of eyes. So that was big news early week. Back to Tosti. Goes to a charity event before the Valero in a helicopter, as shown by the PGA Tour. They got a crew in a helicopter going to a first tee of San Antonio event. But Tosti getting a lot of play early here, coming off his national debut last week, as you mentioned. I really like that. And then back in Miami, the Four Aces have Flint Tropics based basketball jerseys for sale in the Liv merch tent. DJ and crew picked out their favorite numbers, and they look pretty much exactly like knockoff Jackie Moon Flint Tropics jerseys. So that went somewhat not real viral, but that got a lot of play on Twitter. Liv press conferences. Anthony Kim does his first United States press conference. Now they're back from Jeddah at Doral. And he says that he is vaguely aware that Tiger won the Masters in 2019, but does not really know that for sure. And had no idea that Brooks won back-to-back majors twice until DJ told him earlier that week in a practice round. So everybody was really confused as to how Anthony Kim even got here. He admitted that he had only started practicing golf 2 months before he ended up playing in Jeddah. So he is still very new to the game. Obviously, when we talked about Jeddah, he had was not fit for any clubs or anything like that. So he is working his way back, I would say, but vaguely aware of Tiger winning the Masters was the big pull quote for everybody.
Vaguely aware from 2019.
Charlie Hoffman makes his 500th start.
He's the number one player in Valero in Texas Open history.
So everybody is wearing Charlie Hoffman t-shirts surrounding the first tee as he is teeing off on Thursday to start his 500 start. Kind of like a big fist pump for him. This was a really kind of interesting find for me. Also this week, I don't have to pull it up. I have the visual aid. I'm drowning in visual aids. JT and Bones are done this week on Wednesday, right before the Masters. JT puts out the notes app statement that him and Bones will no longer be continuing their working relationship. Spieth hits a hole-in-one.
That was a shocker. I mean, the greatest caddy of all time breaking up, you know.
You hit that for the next 6 months, 8 months, still going.
It
was crazy. A week before the Masters, kind of a shocker.
What was crazy about it? They weren't playing well.
Well, I think
turns out just hiring caddy X doesn't change the way you play golf.
No, I guess not.
Scottie,
the chaplain.
I know somebody was meeting the chaplain today. They're gonna. I was like, all right, don't bring my name up. So tell him to pray for me.
That's
all right. Go ahead.
All right. So Spieth hits a hole-in-one on
the chaplain. Wouldn't be mad at us
on Thursday. Which gets everybody excited. He wins a car for hitting the hole-in-one, and Ricky decides to sign the hood of the car on Friday as Spieth is trying to take all the pictures with the sponsorship. I believe, what kind of car was it? I think it might be a Lexus. Ricky decides to sign the hood of it, and that was big catnip for everybody. The PGA Tour was all over that concept.
Sure.
Justin Lauer is your 18-hole leader at the Valero and has a press conference in which he refers to himself as the mule.
I'm still a quote unquote mule out here as compared to other guys. But
incredible.
Favorite. Justin Lauer is the best.
That was
quote unquote mule.
Quote unquote
delivery.
Mule. So for the rest of Valero, this goes into a playoff on Sunday. Akshay ends up winning over Denny McCarthy, who chases him down, essentially. Akshay enters Sunday with a 4-shot lead. He misses a short putt on 17 to leave him in a must-make on 18 to get into the playoff with Denny McCarthy. Denny McCarthy goes insane on the back nine. He shoots a 28 coming in to get into the playoff. He birdies his last 7 holes. Akshay has a little, I'll call it an accident, celebrating making his putt to get him into the playoff.
Got hurt, right?
Dislocates his shoulder.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Pops his shoulder out of his socket, fist pumping his celebration. I have
what an idiot. Just stupid.
That's good, Andy. That's professional soundboarding on that one. That's good.
That was good. So I have the video here of him explaining to his fiance what happened. He says my shoulder came out of the socket when I put my arm up like this, which is kind of a hilarious visual here. But he gets very excited to make the playoff. Has his physio come out of
remember this
the
crowd upside down
he's
Dallas
wearing
hat?
the upside down Dallas hat. And he's getting worked on as they go back to the 18th tee in the 18th fairway after he hits his drive on the playoff. It's like Dan Hicks is incredibly confused as to what is going on. Apparently this guy used to be the physio for an NBA team and now works with Akshay and is trying to just hold his hand through this. But it didn't really end up mattering because Denny was as hot as could be, but just duffs his approach shot into the water from 90 yards out, which pretty much hands Akshay.
That was maybe one of the worst shots of the year.
Yeah.
That's up there with Pot Guider.
It was bad. Just so hot and then just straight laid the sod over it, right?
Yeah. So Akshay writes WTW for wire to wire on his arm as he goes out to play his first round. Or to play his final round on Sunday. So that was big on Twitter. A lot of catnip there. People were excited. Akshay becomes the first drive, chip, and putt participant to ever play in the Masters as a result of this.
Yeah, so people are fired up about that.
He gets his Masters invite.
Can I just say one thing? The physio who came out, I remember this, looked like he was 15 years old.
Yes, he looks younger than I was. He was short. I tried to find the screen grab of it, but I couldn't. He was very small.
I think I made a joke about he was a drive, chip, and putt contestant in the morning, and then he was working on Akshay in the evening, and somebody referred to him as Doogie Howser because the kid looked the physio. I'm not kidding. The guy looked honestly 15 years old. He's in the middle of the fairway working on Akshay in the last minutes. Okay. All right. Sorry. Keep going.
No, you're good. Spieth has an interesting day on Saturday. This is the highlight of the week. He just completely goes haywire here. So he hits his drive absolutely way right into this gutter area that is not out of bounds. So he's now for the audio listeners, it's a screen grab of him standing on top of a sewer grate that's elevated above the gutter where his ball went in. This is
sewer grate. Sewer grate? Sewer grate. Sewer grate. Okay. All right. Anwa. All right. We're getting a Long Island. We're getting a little Long Island in here. All right.
So then we have this is his path to.
Do you remember this, Andy?
Where he ends up. He decides to
disgraceful.
Decides to.
I think I yelled about this for 10 minutes.
You were very mad about this on the Sunday episode. Intentionally hit from the gutter, from the sewer into the clubhouse of the course, where the ball lands in the gutter, and he gets a free drop.
Hits it up on the roof.
Hits it on the roof.
Not OB.
Not OB. Into the gutter of the clubhouse to get a free drop, and then hits it onto the green from there. So this was an adventure on the 18th hole for Jordan. But this was all over Twitter, catnip city, complete.
Unbecoming. This is unsporting. Playing to the roof, looking for the drop. Yeah.
It was.
It's got to be OB. It's got to be.
You can't hit it into a hotel.
He takes advantage
on purpose for a play.
Also, in weird moments, Ludwig drives the green on the par 4 17th, and his driver head snaps off as he's following through the shot. He is completely amazed as to what possibly happened here, but he ends up making a 3, could not convert the eagle putt. At Liv, we have an all-time video.
Pretty much me and a group of friends were literally walking past the tree, and we heard the ball hit into the tree. everybody started crowding where was the ball. We're like, yeah, it's in the tree. It hasn't moved from the tree, hasn't fell out. And John, Rahm, and Bland came over. We're looking for the ball. We're like, it's in the tree. I said, hey, I'll climb the tree for you guys and see if it's in there so we can compare it. And I went up in there. So I got a glove from Bland, so hopefully I get it signed for the second hole.
A Blandy glove.
Bland.
So
Rob didn't give him anything.
Blandy has a guy climbing in a tree to look for his ball in the final round.
The Bland Army is
they are legitimately all over the place. This goes into a playoff. Mean Dean beats Sergio, and the Stingers blast Sergio with some champagne shrapnel on accident on the 18th green. He just gets absolutely poured on by the champagne. He was not happy about it, but everybody was saying that Sergio was kind of trending well heading into the Masters the next week. Everybody was excited about how he played. Anthony Kim finished 21 over, by the way, in his American re-debut.
Darrell will do that if you're not sharp.
Nelly wins the LPGA match play for her 4th win in a row. She just I think her final match was like an absolute steamroll. Like nobody came close. So that is her 4th win in a row. What else do I have here? I have Anwa. I'm making sure I have this right. Lottie Wode. Birdie's 3 of the last 4 for a comeback win. I have a screen grab here of her walking in the final putt.
It's a great wild.
It was
right.
Yeah. She chases down Birdie's 3 of the last 4. An early trigger on the walk in for the final putt. And that sends us into Masters week. Also on Sunday at Valero, Rory shoots a 66, his lowest final round of the year. People get excited.
No way.
Rory's coming in for the Masters. Rory's
coming in hot. So that's what I have for Valero.
Andy and I are on the ground at this point. It's Sunday of drive, chip, and putt. We get intel that the gnomes have flown off the shelf yet again, sold out in under like an hour and a half. And, just hot off the presses. And if commerce is your thing, oh my God, Andy's leaving. Commerce is your thing. Stripe may be a partner. Look, he's got to know.
He's got to know.
He's got to know. He's got to know. For such fast-paced commerce world, someone I'd go to is Stripe as my payments provider, payment service provider. They power 1% of the total global GDP. They power small businesses like ours. They power big boy businesses like Alaska Airlines, Hertz, the PGA of America. The companies that use Stripe's optimized checkout suite saw a revenue uplift of 11.9% on average. So it's an easy kind of, these guys work for big business, small businesses. It's a way to integrate, way to take some of the stress, especially if you're a small business, of wondering, how do I make this work? How do I power this? How do I exchange payment services? Stripe is the one that does it for 300,000 businesses, I believe.
For the over 300,000 businesses use Stripe billing. We're one of those businesses.
Love it. So DoorDash, Hertz, Instacart, Enterprise Stripe, OpenAI, Postmates, just some big boys use it. If you want to learn more, go to stripe.com or go to stripe.com/billing. Figure out how to power your business. Look for that revenue uplift. That's a good thing. You want revenue uplift. All right, so that's going on. Gnomes are flying off the shelves at Sunday at the Masters. You got one. We're all set. You're not putting it out front of your home. You're not signaling to anyone something on it's an office decor. That's a nice little gnome you got there. Flying off the shelves. We go into Monday and it's Eclipse Day. Eclipse content is just everywhere. The glasses are out. We've got, the eclipse is happening all over the world, but for the golf world, it's very
what a photo.
You got us in the glasses staring up from Chief Data Officer John Ozekowitz. One of my favorite pictures of a special week. We're just
what we do.
What an idiot. Just stupid.
Justin Ray. So people are trying to weave Eclipse. Justin Ray has great. He's the GOAT for this reason. The last total eclipse visible in the United States happened on Monday before the 2017 Northern Trust. Dustin Johnson beat Jordan Spieth. So we're getting eclipse stats on what it means for the golf world. We have Bryson staring like a complete goober, I think was Tron called him, but just a lovable goober, just grinning ear to ear like a pig in shit, with his on the range, just staring up, a scientist himself, looking up. Peppy Peter talks about how excited he is.
Oh my God.
Said he went on Amazon and got glasses for his hatcher and his own son. So they had their own glasses. They were prepared coming into the week, all fired up for the Eclipse. His first Masters. He's on Amazon buying
He's most excited for the Eclipse.
So he has 4-year-old son. They were all fired up for that. He does his interview. He's doing his first round of press ever at the Masters with glasses on. With glasses on. That's Peppy Peter leaning into it. And then we find out the Masters gave away glasses. I think they were giveaways. And there's people are selling them on eBay for like $100, $80 to $100. They're just cardboard glass. I might have some thrown on my shelf somewhere, but $100 on eBay for these glasses. Early course change. So that was.
Hold on, you forgot the best one.
Oh yeah, Nick Faldo going triple decker. Yeah, he's sitting on the lawn. He's just like also looks happy to just be goofing off. He's got 3 glasses stacked on top of each other with just a guy Kinnings in the background, just making chatter under the tree, and Nick Faldo just having a grand old time on the lawn there. That's Eclipse Monday. We start to get sort of, I don't know, some hard data, or not hard data, but visuals of the course changes. We find out the tee has been moved back in 10 yards to the left, pressed against the tree line. This is Garrett in the newsletter. On Friday, perhaps an effort to preempt Anwa Gumshoes. The Twitter account just posted a photo of it. He says, that's basically what I saw on Saturday. It's really far back there. The huge bunker on the right side of the fairway is now more in play. In fact, it's so centered in the sight line from the tee that it feels unavoidable, much like the bunkers on the left side of the 18th fairway. Andy wrote about this on Wednesday after we didn't talk, but Fred Ridley talked to the press. He had some really sharp stuff. You're throwing out lines from Mackenzie and how this is sort of antithetical to Mackenzie. Said these changes, this along with the sharp, the drop off at 6, they wanted to make going long at 6 a little more penal. So these changes are geared to presenting a championship test. But this is Andy. They also cut right against the architectural and artistic vision of Alistair Mackenzie. Between the angle and non-original bunker, this is on 2, that forces a specific line, number 2 now features a drastically different tee shot than the one originally envisioned by Mackenzie. The current iteration works in opposition to his theory that long holes should offer multiple routes for players of different abilities and dispositions. Then the back 6 drop-off, you're like, Rory McIlroy described it as, quote, sharp. An adjective that surely would have made Mackenzie cringe. That's what you wrote. So there's some of those early changes. Some people really praised the number. Some of our colleagues in the press, I won't name names, really loved the number 2 tee box. I guess because it, is more visually intimidating. But totally geared towards kind of like 13, right? The tee looking just unnatural way back there, geared towards this 1 week of championship golf.
I just hate how 2 just doesn't send balls into the pine straw on the right. Like how the bunker just stops balls from going there. That's all it does. It's like kind of more fun if you're in the pine straw and the trees, and you might have a way to hit like a miraculous shot down and run something onto the green. You might lay up. You could hit the tree. It's just would be way more interesting if that bunker was not there.
Honestly, like a memory that's like seared in my brain was like, I was going to like 4T. I was like back in that area, and Ryan Fox hit a big foul ball back there, and he was in the pine straw and hit like this insane, incredible shot from that pine straw.
Yeah.
And up to, like front left of the green. It's like, I remember where I was and I remember watching it precisely. That shot.
Nobody remembers anything about a shot from those bunkers.
Yeah.
It's like, they just hit a 9-iron out of it.
Yeah, I think that was like 2 years ago. Tiger on Rory. No question he'll do it at some point. It's just a matter of when, on winning the Masters, or the Grand Slam, I should say. Rory takes a different approach this week. Played 2 rounds the preceding week. Then he flies in 30 minutes on Tuesday before his press conference. Then he
Short
quick walks. He goes Tosti boy. He quick walks the press. They don't do the announcement where they say Rory's on his way to the press center. He comes in early. It's supposed to start at 12:30. They started at like 12:20 and say Rory's in the press room. Usually they say he's on his way. So he's in the press room. All the press is rumbling and stumbling down to the press conference area. Supposed to start at 12:30. He was out and gone at 12:33. It took like 10 questions. There was no warning. I think one of the Carr brothers is sort of the moderator, said this is the last question. There's 4 more. He didn't do any of that. It's like, all right, peace, out. So he leaves. That was kind of a fun thing. Like, not fun. It was an amusement there on Tuesday. I think he did play a practice round, but that was the whole thing. He comes in last second, so I'm not going to change it too different. Treat it too differently. There's a very Tiger-like rumor going around that he shot a 31 on a 9-hole practice visit. So people are really worked up about this. Oh, he shot a 31 at some preceding week or two on a 9-hole practice round visit. Fred Couples, after practice round with Zalatoris and stuff, does this thing. Is like, last thing he's thinking about is making the cut. I don't know how the weather's supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be perfect or not, but I don't think it matters. Can he win here? You know what? Yeah. Like, I mean, and then he talks, he goes,
he was doing the weird rehearsal at this point where he did the backswing rehearsal.
You talking about Rory?
Yeah, Rory.
You're talking about Tiger now, but yes, Rory was doing that. Yeah. Where it's like half up. This is like a Butch thing. You just seen Butch and everybody's like, oh, is Butch make him doing this? But Tiger, people are like, oh, he's hitting 175 on the range. Fred's saying he could win. He shot a 31 allegedly. And then he comes in the press conference. He goes, every shot that's not on the tee box is a challenge, which just sort of speaks to the walk and the physical toll. He says, as everything comes together, I think I can get one more. People freak out about that quote. But again, he makes the cut, sets the record. That'll come later. A lot of people took away. I saw several tweets. My biggest takeaway, this is from a colleague, our biggest takeaway from the Tiger presser, it sure seems like he'll be the captain of the U.S. team at Bethpage Black. That did not happen. Didn't get across the line on that. Shane Bacon in our newsletter said on Scottie, just got to give him his flowers. He has somehow improved over the last 4 months. From where I'm sitting, it feels like a green jacket number 2 isn't just likely, it's inevitable. So Bacon calling his shot there. I will just GM him and contrast that with an earlier tweet in March 9th. He said, Wyndham Clark is going to be number 1 ranked player in the world at some point this season.
He changed his mind. He's a flip-flopper. He's the, we can't have flip-floppers in society.
He called Scottie inevitable, but he didn't want me to make sure I popped him for saying Wyndham would be number 1 in the world. We're all fired about the great rookie class. Like, usually it's kind of hit or miss, but we have Wyndham and Ludwig Aberg as top 15 players in the world as the first-time players. And Pepe Peters there too. So people are real fired up about that. Ludwig really gives it a run going into the weekend. New concession stand is open, kind of around 8.
The Carrabba's.
Yeah, and we are told, like, in the area, we meet with someone who's in the know, said it looks like a Carrabba's. So we can't wait to get there. And I didn't know what a Carrabba's looks like, but that was kind of the dig on that. The Masters actually does it. And look back on this now, what this group is. They lean into it. They do a super group, which we never get at the Masters. Scottie, Rory, and Xander. Like, holy cow. Think about that now. Xander won 2 majors. But it's not a featured group for the first round. As the Masters is want to do, they're not a featured group. Fortunately, Scottie, Rory, Xander, you get the delay on Thursday. It kind of pushes into the TV window, but they give us a super group and then don't make them a feature group on Thursday. That's announced. Everybody, there's pains over that. Tiger Woods is paired with Max and somebody called Jason Day. So that's the big tee time for him. People get fired up about that.
This was the start of Jason Day week.
Yeah. We also hear it's really firm. Like Xander says, he's hitting 5 irons that are, quote, tomahawking over the green. This is pretty cool. It's been a while. Brooks says this place, yesterday when I played it, it was as firm as I've seen it in 4 or 5 years. This is always sort of the lament. Phil's talked about this in prior years, right? Like they just haven't had it firm. They can't, or they can't, or it's just not firm. And so we get a lot of this early on. We got some of those reports at Anwa. People are excited about that. Wyndham Clark wore a shirt that was just egregious, gross. We called it in the newsletter a fall color lava lamp with like khaki pants. And he wore some bad stuff on Thursday, I think, as well. But that like became catnip for a while. Bryson does his press conference, had an emotional or an amusing suggestion. Like, he's not antagonistic anymore. He goes, we have to talk to both players on both sides. We have to come together on a negotiation. He just to show that there's a mutually beneficial ground. Quote, a peace that I hope a lot of people can start to see. What is that? Oh, you found the 2020 peak Burl, peak beef. And then 20.
Look at that. I love the like a snarl on his face in that too.
It's a well-timed photo.
I've got that 2020 like saved in the favorites folder. He also suggests like essentially a Super Bowl of golf. I mean, says if you can look at it like the NFL, this is on the two separate leagues. You can have an NFC, AFC sort of working in their own fields, which they don't. Like the Chiefs play teams in the NFC. You get the NFC, AFC sort of working in their own fields, and at the end, they come together and put on a huge event at the end of the year. It's a provocative proposal in his Masters press conference. He also had an amusing. They're talking about when are we going to come together? They're asking like, if a Liv player wins, what does that mean? Because I think we'd all be extremely excited and happy for whoever that individual is. I'm not so sure for the other side, but that's for them to make up their own emotional state, I guess you could say. Just he starts talking and loses his words, tries to use big words and gets into trouble. Rory quote says, there's no point in doing anything different this week compared to other weeks, was his quote, which is where he gets to, showing up late and like it's the Valero or something. There was a quote, I believe, after the first round said he read a book called like Outwitting the Devil.
I
or
have
something.
that. I have
All
that.
right.
You can't be running
I'm just saying, contrast it with no point in doing anything different. Seems like he's reading books specific to prep.
Come
You'll
on
get to
now.
that.
Stepping into my turf here.
This is when the Scheffler labor burn stuff really starts to get going. The early week articles of like
this was insane.
Goes into labor. They both say they'll WD. This is in practice rounds. People are getting like, oh, is this a thing?
It was a month before the due date.
Yeah. But it was content. It was content on Tuesday. It was content on Wednesday. It was content. And then Scottie gets in contention and becomes a massive thing. This is still, I don't know if this is verified. Hideki Caddy was putting like the reflectors, Shota, in one fairway. And there was this discussion about if he was trying to play 9 up and over down one fairway. And they were measuring and shooting yardages during the practice round. Like, is this a thing that could happen? Go up and over those trees. Not necessarily maybe a great angle into 9 green, but that was a big drama for a minute in terms of course content. Brooks said it's all about angles, which I think, sent the data boys into a tizzy when you got Brooks, major champion specialist, saying it's all about angles. Just some quick rapid press conference summary. Hovland is like, lost in the sauce at this point, like coming right out and saying, I don't have a good chance to win. He referenced how he grew up like reading articles of biomechanics of the swing, and he's just like deep in it. So he's like, I mean, I guess I could surprise myself and play well. But he's just lost in the sauce. Rahm is like bothered by the Liv stuff, a lot of deep sighs on every answer, short answers. He's a defending champ. Said he admits like he thought going to Liv would quote unquote expedite. That's the term he used. Expedite the agreement, bring it together faster. He's like, at the end of the day, I don't have all the power or don't have
about
the power.
a year from that.
Yeah. He said he thought he would expedite the agreement. Rory on Butch said, if you can play golf the right way, it sort of makes you feel like you can live your life the right way. He texts Butch about discipline. So those are a couple press conference notes. Rahm saying he would have expedited the agreement. Faldo does a Sky Sports golf podcast. He said he's been playing resort courses for the last couple of months in shorts. Nick Faldo just throwing takes before the Champions Dinner. He hasn't really been tested. He's going to have to step it up to get in the right intensity. He's been playing resort courses in shorts is what he calls it. 6'9" amateur Christo Lamprecht has to go sleep in the says he will sleep
crow's
in the crow's nest. He says it'll be the best uncomfortable sleep I'll ever have in my life. So you've got Rahm saying, I hope there's an expedited agreement. We need to get back together. You have Bryson saying, we need peace. We need to find a mutually beneficial ground. Sergio zags hard the other way. He says, I don't think it's a problem at all. Like, ratings are shit. Nobody's doing anything. Everyone's complaining. All sides are agreeing we need to come together. Sergio goes, I don't think it's a problem at all. I mean, the same way I love watching Real Madrid and La Liga. You can watch them in the Premiership or wherever, and then you can support whoever they want. There's plenty. He's comparing soccer, the most popular game in the world, to golf. Liv and PGA Tour and the Valero and the Valspar and Liv Doral. And like Sean Zock pointed, there's plenty of people to support both. And as Sean Zock pointed out, his La Liga Premier League analogy for Liv and Tour falls apart when you consider 2023 Champions League finals viewed by 450 million people. So again, Sergio just zags. He goes, no problem. You can just keep on this path. Stay in separate spots. What else? We got Ridley does his Wednesday press conference. You say one of the key parts of the mission of the club is to serve the game of golf. You pounce on this and say, 70 years the Masters played. He says 70 years the Masters played at over 6,900 yards. Today, the course measures 7,550. We'll play it at 76. I've said in the past, I hope I will not play the Masters 8,000 yards, but that is likely to happen in the not too distant future under current standards. Accordingly, we support decisions that have been made by the R&A and the USGA as they've addressed the impact of distance at all levels. But pressed on this by Shackelford, he used the phrase, quote, other aspects of technology that are within the rules, which seem to suggest a desire to take a closer look at the driver and others. So he was unequivocally supporting, but I wouldn't say he was like jumping over the moon about how far they went or the measurements taken, if that makes sense. There's kind of there's a distinction there. Assuming these regulations are adopted by the PGA Tour and other tours. So he's saying get in line, Tour and other tours. I certainly hope they will be. I think were they not adopted, it would cause a great deal of stress in the game, which it doesn't need right now. Well, Tour still fighting them, even though Master supports it. On Liv versus the Tour, he says, I will acknowledge if you look at the data this year, golf viewers are down on linear television. This was like kind of a bombshell for him to just cite it at all, right? To go there saying the ratings are not good. Viewers are down. You can draw your own conclusions. Certainly the fact the best players in the world are not convening very often is not helpful. On the OWGR, he called it legitimate. He says the closed shop nature of Liv is what he talked about. Cannot be reconciled with OWGR points. And you talked about scarcity. People are pushing for an all women's like pro event. He's just, look, we can't present the course in the way we would want. We don't want to do it in the fall. It's not a summer course. He says we want to protect the mystique and magic of the Masters. So it's like the scarcity. Norman starts showing up on Wednesday. This is a Rick Mace Washington Post article. Walking around here today, there's not one person who said to me, why did you do Liv? Why did you do Liv? There's been hundreds of people, even security guys, stopping me saying, hey, what you're doing is fantastic. To me, that tells you what we have a platform that fits within the ecosystem, and it's good for the game of golf. Hey, what you're doing is fantastic. I'm here because we have 13 players that won 10 Masters between them. So I'm here to support them, do the best I can to show them, hey, the boss is here rooting for you. I don't know that they call him the boss. Phil is going to call him his boss. Norman said to the Piff, I'm not even privy to any of those conversations, which I'm happy about because we're focused on delivering what we promised the world we would deliver. He called Liv. Liv is completely autonomous to that, to be honest with you. I don't think he knows the word what autonomous means. Liv might be separate from Piff, but it is not autonomous. So they can make their own decisions and make some regulations and moves, but I wouldn't say they're autonomous from Piff. I think that's it. Oh, we have Tyrrell Hatton does an interview during the par 3 contest. Do you have this, PJ? In which I wouldn't say he goes full. Yeah, he goes full Hovland. They're talking to him,
Tyrrell,
Faldo.
Serious question. What's it going to take for a third Englishman to get it done this week?
Well, shouldn't ask me. I've got no chance, but I'll
ask the major champion, shall I?
Yeah.
Fitz just starts cackling. He's like, you shouldn't ask me. I have no chance. So not exactly boosting himself on Wednesday before the Masters starts. And that does it for all your press conference inanities, Eclipse content going into tournament rounds.
All right. Thursday, Friday. This is
All
the
right.
new format this year for
Yes.
majors. Otherwise,
Yes.
it would take us 10 hours to do each major.
Yes.
All right. Scheffler. Let's start with Scheffler. Thursday, round 1. So Scheffler is, just to give you a breakdown, end of the day, Bryson leads 65. Scheffler shoots 66, is 1 back. Then you got Højgaard at 5 under through 15. If you remember, there was a weather delay, so they started late, so they didn't get done. Willett shoots 68, and Max Homa is 4 under through 13. That's kind of like your leaderboard. Scheffler hits 66, comes and he hits it in a bunker on 12, holds the bunker shot, and then on 13 he hits it in the water. He hits it in the hazard. It hits the bank. It stays on the bank, and he makes another birdie. So he hit it in the bunker and technically hit it in the hazard on 13, and he plays the holes 2 under. When you just kind of look back on winning, these are crazy things that happen. Like that round could have easily been, if he goes bogey, it could have been it was like a 4-shot swing.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a 66 and a 70. It kind of like is like a crazy thing on the tournament,
Yeah.
Scottie was 65 holes left. This was a Kyle Porter tweet. 65 holes left. DraftKings had him as a plus 280 favorite. So 7 holes in.
Jesus.
Through 7 holes, he's plus 280. Here's Rory on Scottie, who obviously played with him in the first round after the first round.
Yep.
Scottie does such a good job of, it doesn't look like he's 6 under par. Then at the end of the day, it's 6 under par. He's just so efficient with everything. If you look at Scottie compared to the rest of the field, the amount of bogey-free rounds he plays, he shoots, it's phenomenal. And that's the secret to winning major championships and winning big-time golf tournaments, is more limiting the mistakes rather than making a ton of birdies. So obviously that's kind of what happened this week.
Yep. Yeah.
Bryson's the story of Thursday, though. Shoots 65. The quotes in the post round were incredible. Absolutely incredible.
This is when the equipment comes out, because I was looking for that in the pre-days, and I don't think everybody had gotten to that point
the equipment comes out.
Yeah.
There's so much fun stuff. So it's been really awesome to see how I can affect a lot of people's lives. This is talking about the YouTube stuff. Junior golfers' lives, middle-aged men, even they're coming out and shouting, "Thanks for the content. Appreciate what you do online."
That would become a quote of the year.
Quote of the year.
I think that is the quote of the year.
Guys in the Masters gallery walking up.
You love this one. This is more on like the YouTube stuff. You look at what Mr. Beast has done, and there's a few other super famous people right now. Jinxie and Scotch.
This is I left that out of the Valero. This is like peak sketch. They had Akshay like doing sketchisms after he won the Valero. This was like peak. It
hurts.
This was big.
Starts the abs. Jinxie. I forgot about
Jinxie and Scotch.
Oh, yes. We had to have a feast with that on the Thursday, like live.
We did.
Jinxie.
Jinxie and
talking about these
Sketch.
old golf writers talking about Jinxie. Okay.
Jinxie and Sketch, and they are growing their avenues and their aspects. It's cool to see the cross-platforming capabilities. Like these individuals coming and playing golf, seeing how much influence they have is really cool. It's just another avenue.
Oh, that's so good. That's so ridiculous.
This is like a serious quote, and kind of like, I think, a quote that sets up the rest of the year for Bryson.
Yeah.
I'm not trying new things, not doing new things. I'm just doing more of the same. That's what has been different from a couple of years ago to now. I'm just doing the same thing every single day in and day out. I'm not trying something new. I'm not trying to figure something out. And that's what I feel like has accumulated into playing some really good golf. I think like what he just said there, and then when you think of Scottie's like super boring, and he just basically does the same thing every day. It's like the grip practice, the setup practice, and he hits balls.
Yep.
And he sets up the same. And this is the key to play good golf.
Yep.
Just do the same shit every day.
Yep.
Bryson then goes into his equipment. Bryson is using a new set of irons he designed with a bulge on the club face you normally see on a driver. It's designed to have less curvature at high speed and the return the ball to the target on offset or strikes. The irons just met USGA conforming standards this week. Later, the next day, it comes out that they weren't conforming the week before. They passed the conforming test on Tuesday.
He kind of just rammed that's nuts. He's on the range. Presumably they have the testing somewhere at Augusta. I don't know. 3D printed.
Maybe
irons.
at Pinehurst number 10. This
Yeah.
testing was being done.
God.
You asked me on the pod, like I think I said something like I have more questions for the USGA than I have for Bryson about the equipment. Like,
right.
what are we doing here with self-correcting irons?
Right.
But anyways, that becomes like a huge story. He also has a quote. He said, I have a level of respect for this golf course that's a little bit different than a couple of years ago.
Okay. When he says a par 68 and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Garrett had a great tweet. He said, not having to compete against Larry Mize has really freed Bryson up.
That's good.
Brentley has Rory McIlroy said last week. So Rory shot even par, or he shot 71. It was hard conditions. It was windy. Rory said last week he listened to the audiobook of Outwitting the Devil, a parable by Napoleon Hill that reveals how fear, procrastination, anger, and jealousy prevent us from realizing our personal goals. So how does one outwit the devil? And Rory replies, positivity.
I mean, I applaud his efforts in trying to be intellectually curious.
Thursday starts. First group is Crystal Lamprecht. I didn't send you this screenshot, did I, PJ?
No,
I have it if you want it. I have this up. Several people sent it to.
I'll send it to PJ.
I'll send it.
So he's first group off. You keep in mind what Ridley talked about with technology, drivers. Christo 6'9" out of the crow's nest. He just blasts one over the bunkers on one. It was like a 385 drive. The screenshot was just like he just hit it right over the bunkers on one, which have been moved. The tees have been moved back as far as they can go. The bunkers have been moved down range to try and prevent against this. The fairway's been narrowed at the bunkers, and Christo just hits it right over him.
89 yards in to the flag. 89 yards to the green. 355. Uphill over the bunker. I mean, this is the first. Yeah, people went nuts about this. So,
PJ, you got Sergio's outfit up.
Yes, I have Sergio.
Sergio has just a preposterous outfit on Thursday. It was like yellow pants, lime green shirt. Just a ridiculous.
It's like a Packers, right? Kind of.
Yeah, it's just lime green shirt, yellow pants, insane outfit. While we're on the outfits, let's get to Jason Day. Jason Day is just a content machine this week.
There's Sergio.
I mean, he's playing with Tiger. It's windy as shit. And he's wearing
Day's playing with Tiger.
Day's playing with Tiger.
Sergio's own thing. Yeah, okay.
And he's wearing these pants that are like parachute pants. And it's windy and it's flapping in the wind. He's having to step off the ball.
This is great.
The announcers I think I can't remember who the announcer was, but it's like I think it was Scott Van Pelt. He was like talking about like, I get making a fashion statement, but like this is like clearly causing him problems.
Yes.
Like
yes.
Like he's unable to hit this short putt. He missed this putt. He missed like a 4-footer on 9. After he had to step off the ball, he's up on that high spot on the green, and his pants are just flapping like crazy in the wind. Bryson is on the range, getting ready to go out, and he's just taking these massive cuts with the driver.
Working himself into a lather.
He's just going nuts on the range. And the best part about it is VJ is just standing in the background watching him. Just a range messiah. There's legends of VJ on the range at all times. And Bryson's just taking these big cuts, and there VJ is standing behind him, watching him go hit cuts. At the post first tee ceremony, the press conference.
Always the bonanza content. Give Gary a microphone.
Gary Player claimed he shot under his age 300 times in a row.
Okay. I feel like he was quoting Churchill, or said he was friends with Churchill or something like that. My good friend Winston Churchill. Something like that.
Then Tom Watson on his Champions Tour dinner evening closing speech. I got up at the Champions dinner, and it was a really wonderful event. We were sitting down. We were having great stories about Seve Ballesteros, and people were laughing and talking. I said to Mr. Ridley, I said, do you mind if I say something about being here together with everybody? He said, please do. And I got up and I said, I'm looking around the room, and I'm just seeing a wonderful experience everybody is having. They are jovial. They're having a great time. They're laughing. And I said, ain't it good to be together again? And there was just this kind of pause from joviality, and it quieted down. And then Ray Floyd got up and said, it was time to leave.
Yeah, I remember that. I think he said a Paul came over the room, Pall, which is not what that word means. I never really, but yeah, I remember that anecdote.
Brian Harmon went 34-47 for 81.
Oh, I don't remember that. Holy cow.
34-47. Should have sent you the scorecard, PJ. PJ's the producer, the YouTube boy. It's very clear when PJ preps. He just like has all of the stuff up and ready to go.
Order and ready to go. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Friday. Leaderboard after Friday. Bryson is T1 at -6. Max Homa is -6 T1. Scottie Scheffler is -6 T1. You got Højgaard at 4 under, Cam Davis at 3, Colin Morikawa at 3, and Ludwig at 2. It was a biblical day. The wind was insane. Nuts. It was blowing out of bunker. The sand was blowing out of the bunkers. It was insane, but the golf course, like, they did an incredible job with setup. It was like perfect. Max Homa, we, as in the golfers, just wanted to go inside.
Oh, I forgot it. That was a great quote. I mean, didn't they have to play because of the delay? They had to play like 23 holes in it or something. Thursday.
Tiger had to go out early.
Yeah.
You went out and watched Tiger. You had a lasting memory. You talked about it on the pod and wrote about Tiger's 3-wood on 15. Nobody was going for the green all day.
That's cool. Yeah.
Tiger ripped a drive. He's at the top of the hill, and he's like right on the cut line, and he's going for the record, and he pulls out lumber, and he just hits this cut, hits the green, makes birdie.
That was cool.
Like everybody was laying up. Everyone.
Yeah. It's so windy. Yeah.
Tiger's at the top of the hill, pulls out lumber, and just like executes like maybe the shot of the day.
Yep. That was cool. On the cut line.
It was the highest scoring average. The scoring average was over 75. It was the highest scoring average since Friday of 07, which was like kind of like the Masters hard period when they were trying
Yeah. Reacting to Tiger proofing and all these things. Yep.
I went out and followed Bryson today.
Yes, you did.
This was a content bonanza. It was an epic day.
Oh yeah, thirsty
Friday. This is out of order. Go back. Get this off the screen. We got to go in order.
Everyday vest. Still
that
going.
wasn't the everyday vest. I broke the bit on this day.
Oh, okay. All right, you went to the zero vest. Okay, zero.
All right. So he makes a gesture on the third fairway. This was the start of the content bonanza. Do you remember this? So he's standing in the fairway.
He's trying to wave people off.
He's
roll
it again. He does like a ski. It was like something like a speed skater would do in the fairway. Trying to get the people off the fourth tee.
Do you remember? I'm just noticing this now for the first time. Who is in the background in the green shirt playing along with him? Who is in the group in front of him?
Oh, I can't remember who it was in front of him. Maybe Højgaard.
Oh yeah, who is that?
I never noticed that.
Yeah,
before.
He's playing along. Oh yeah.
I saw a tweet about who was in the group ahead of him.
Keep going.
So he's playing along. You know, obviously he has this big day the day before. It's a little bit more difficult today. But he's hanging in there. And on 13, he blasts it way right. And this is one of the moments of the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
So he hits it way right on 13. And if you remember, so I was following along. I was like actually right by Bryson's family at this point. They're really nervous. He's getting up there. And our photographer, Cameron Hurtis, is right there too. And before I see Bryson walking up and I see where he's looking. And if you remember back when he made the 67 comments, when he was in the bulking phase, he had talked about playing up 14. So you could see him and you saw you saw him looking. And it was like, I said to our camera man, Cameron, it feels diminishing to call him a cameraman.
Yeah,
but I said to him, he's playing up 14. He's going to play up 14.
Yeah.
So he gets to the ball, he looks at it, and then he immediately walks towards 14 fairway. And then, like a moment in time, he doesn't ask somebody to pull the sign out. He himself pulls the sign out. He knew what he was doing. He knew that the content was going to be had. I mean, he's become a showman. This is like the coming out party of Bryson, the showman. He pulls the sign out, and it looks like he's carrying like a cross. Effectively.
Yes, the silhouette is like Jesus carrying the cross over his shoulder, and like people have a field day with this.
Do you have the picture,
yeah,
PJ?
It's loading in.
So he picks up the sign. This is the moment. And he plays the shot up 14. Then he hits the wedge. He gets TIO from the grandstand on 14.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And he hits the wedge up there. I think he made the putt. He made a birdie on 13, playing this roundabout way. I talk about it on the pod. Like literally, there's someone in one ear yelling how much they love Bryson at this point. And then someone in my other ear, like being like, screw you, Bryson, go back to Liv. Like you take the blood money, like basically like shows the paradigm of Bryson.
Yeah. I remember you saying that because you hear everything at the Masters. You're not like, you don't have headphones in watching TV or listen to radio. You just hear all the comments.
And everybody's engaged, know?
Yep.
So, again, I'm following him. I'm on 16. I'm sitting behind the green. I retell this on the story on the pod after.
Yes. This is Thirsty Friday.
The ball, he launches one on 16. It's just coming over the green. And I retell this. I said it was like a flashback to Little League Baseball.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a fly ball was coming right at me. The ball landed in the seat in front of me.
Is this deep left?
Deep, it's behind the green. Deep left.
Okay.
It landed in the seat in front of me.
Okay.
And then, like, of course, like everybody's clearing out. I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna stand here doing my job.
Yeah.
And I was looking around. There weren't any cameras. Then all of a sudden I saw the like power camera pointed right at me. You gave me a lot of shit about, and a lot of people online gave me where my vest was zipped up.
Yes.
The wind was like 30 miles an hour and it was pretty hot. I didn't want to carry around my vest.
Okay.
But I didn't want to have it unzipped. Otherwise it would have been flapping around. It would have been bothering Bryson right here.
Yeah. Okay. So
I kept it like half zipped for that.
Okay. Half is generous. It's like quarter zip, but yeah, towards the bottom.
He amazing chip here. Amazing up and down from over the green. It was like a dicey lie. It was not a good lie. Like it was a lie that would make you queasy because of like the foot traffic, downslope, incredible up and down here. So a couple things from the Bryson. I mean, he put on a show.
Yep.
An old lady on one of the tee boxes. Like a lot of times I stay up high when I go around this. I was like trying to get as close as possible all day, which is why I was where I was on 16. This lady on one tee box, this old lady goes, "Oh, is that Bryson?
I remember this. Baby.
Looks like he lost a little weight."
I remember this.
On the 8th tee, he's just snacking. He's always snacking.
Yes.
And on the 8th tee, he pumps a drive, just pumps one out there. Gets to his bag, and he pulls out this giant Ziploc bag with like all kinds of snacks in it. and this bro next to me goes, "Bryson, what's in the bag, bro?" And there's like a 15-second delay, and I'm looking at Bryson's face, and like when you're clearly like thinking about what to say.
Yeah.
Like he's going through like in his mind, what should I say back to this guy?
Right.
And he goes, "The good stuff, bro."
Showman.
It's the good stuff.
It's complete showman.
Here's the thing. Say what you will. Like this week came very clear at the US Open. Bryson interacts with the audience.
Well, yeah.
He's the only pro that does this.
A prior iteration of him would have said like F off, like
Yes.
go away. And he like kind of embraced it and was changing. Yeah. Like, how do I respond to this? I want to interact. And he does. So yeah. And then obviously it came to a complete head at Pinehurst. So
Victor Hovland, this is a tough time for Victor. He missed this putt. He missed a 4-inch putt, maybe.
Oh God, well, he's one hand.
You can barely see the ball.
Yeah.
It was maybe one of the shortest misses on the PGA Tour in history.
Yeah.
Maybe another moment of the tournament here. Zach Johnson.
Oh no. Which one is this?
Zach
so
makes a triple bogey on
tap
12.
in for triple bogey.
What happened?
At the 12th.
Can you roll that again?
Yeah.
The Bronx cheer.
So just listen carefully here. Listen carefully for those on the audio.
Tap in
after the
for
clapping.
Triple bogey. At the 12th.
I mean, he clearly acknowledges the fans that are giving the sarcastic clap, looks right at him and yells, "Fuck off." So, I mean, this is the Masters, right?
Oh, didn't he come up with some?
Yes, he gets asked all about
I have that video if you want it. This happens on Saturday, but we can play it now.
Okay.
Situation.
Okay, it happens.
At all. What are they saying that I did or said or?
It's been reported that you swore at some of the patrons.
That I swore at the patrons. That's laughable. That's completely laughable. I can't hear the patrons. Number one. Number two, I just made a triple bogey on the 12th hole that evidently was going to make me miss the cut, which at the time I kind of knew was pretty sensitive in the sense that I needed to keep making pars. If I've said anything, which I'm not going to deny, especially if it's on camera, one, I apologize, and two, is fully directed towards myself entirely because I can't hear anything behind me. Does that make sense? Yeah. I don't.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
The video.
I'm not going to deny anything, especially if it's on video.
Can we play
the video's unequivocal.
Can we play the instance
video
of it happening again?
Is so unequivocally directed. Like
I'm not going to deny it, especially if it's on video, but I deny it.
It's laughable, but I don't deny it, but I do.
So
but it's at myself.
That tap in for triple bogey at the 12th.
What are they saying that I did or said or
Triple
what?
Bogey
Oh.
At the 12th.
He's clearly looking right at him.
Yes. Yes.
The other thing about this, if you were going to say something to yourself at this point, you wouldn't say fuck off to yourself.
It is instantaneously the sound. It's an instantaneous reaction to the sound and a look at the direction from the sound.
Listen, I'm not going to deny it, especially
this happens on Friday, but he doesn't finish his round until Saturday. So that's why he talks on Saturday. So the prompt is, are you aware of what's going on social media? So this has happened like overnight. Like this happened a long time ago, and he still has no idea what is happening.
Got it.
Quote, quote.
Got it.
And of course, this comes just months after Don't Stir Me.
Don't Stir Me.
Don't Stir Me.
The situation at all. What is there? What are they saying that I did or said or?
It's been reported that you swore in some of the patrons.
That I swore at the patrons. That's laughable. That's completely laughable. I can't hear the patrons. Number one. Number two, I just made a triple bogey on the 12th hole that evidently was going to make me miss the cut, which at the time I kind of knew was pretty sensitive in the sense that I needed to keep making pars. If I've said anything, which I'm not going to deny, especially if it's on camera, one, I apologize, and two, is fully directed towards myself entirely because I can't hear anything
fully entirely
behind me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't.
No, it doesn't.
In theory, it makes sense, but there's video that clearly, entirely, and totally discredits that explanation.
All right. Luke List hit just an awful shake on 16.
Oh.
He almost hit the scoreboard on the right.
Oh, yeah. This is out of the web vintage.
Like almost hit the scoreboard.
He's up on like 17 walkway. Yeah, God.
Norman is back on property and he's in Berkman's
place. Okay.
And allegedly he's triple fisting azaleas.
Oh, we got the tip. Wasn't that was that not substantial? Yes. Gave a big tip though, or something. I want to say, right? Or
no,
somebody else.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. This was all just me being down with the people all day. I heard all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
Kyle Porter tweet: Jose Maria Othabel made the cut. So who's 58 years old and has played 2 professional events since the start of 2022. Just beat Jordan Spieth by 3. Just Dustin Johnson by 6 at Augusta National in one of the tougher first 2 rounds of a major in recent memory. Golf is stupid.
So honestly, might be like the golf feat of the year. We just showed Lamprecht hitting 353, like Bryson, and even Jose hitting at 220, 235 in the wind.
He was a foot off the 9th green. I remember walking by and seeing this. He was a foot off the 9th green. With like maybe 20 feet from the cup.
Okay.
And he hit a bump and run. 99.9% of people we're gonna be putting that.
Yeah.
It's just like an auto putter. He tried to chip. He hit a chip.
It's incredible.
So Tiger sets the record, 24 made cuts at the Masters. I think he was 8 back. He thought he had a chance. He like in this post round, he's like, I got a chance to win.
Okay.
Homa on Tiger. He understands this golf course so well, but he hits such amazing golf shots. His iron play is so good that even when he did miss the green, you could tell he had so much control, like he was missing in the right spot. And on 18, we had sandblast for 45 seconds. I turned around 5 times so I didn't get crushed in the face. And he's just standing there like a statue. Must have been the SEAL training.
I remember watching this.
And then he poured it right in the middle. So all the cliches you hear about him and all the old stories about how he'll grind it out, it was fun to see that in person.
Yep.
So here's Tiger Woods started his record master cut streak in April of 1997. This was a Fried Egg tweet. There are 17 players in this week's field that were not born at that point. Ludwig, Akshay, Santiago.
PJ were born? Oh my God.
Santiago de la Fuente, Nick Dunlap, Austin Eckroat, Rio
Satsuni.
Yeah.
Nikolai Højgaard, Hovland, Sungjae, Tom Kim, Christo, Minwoo Lee, Joaquin Neiman, Neil Shipley, Jasper Stubbs, The Gala, and Cam Young. Wow. So Jason Day's outfit on Friday.
I was wondering when that was.
He wears the like Malbon all over vest.
Yes.
Looks like almost like a cigarette box. And he's playing again. He's playing with Homa and Tiger featured group. This is all over.
Popular. Yeah. Yep.
And he is asked by the Masters. He confirms this on Saturday. He's asked by the Green Jackets to take this off.
The sweater vest.
So he takes it off at the turn, effectively.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was all signed sorts of catnip. That got it all over the place.
Right.
VJ was wearing it's like tie-dyed hokas.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
That's good. This is stuff you only get the Masters. Jose Maria, VJ, and hokas. It just adds to the mystique.
I don't remember the tie-dye hokas in Phoenix. I think I would have made a note of that, but I don't remember that.
Hatton is just not happy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Tyrrell Hatton today. I'm always frustrated. I feel like I've been a little bit unlucky with these first 2 days. I don't feel like I've had too many good breaks. And then he goes into it about the group in front of him.
Oh, yeah. Remember this now.
The lads in front have been so slow. It's pretty poor from the officials that it took 32 holes to put them on the clock. Yesterday, they lost a hole and a half, and then they weren't any better even this morning. And then for the second round, they were just brutal. Fine for them. They're not waiting on any shot that they hit. It's a small field. It's not hard to really keep up with the group in front. Hatton just not happy.
And it was Reed. It was Patrick Reed's group, not necessarily Reed himself. Kitayama. I want to say it's Reed, Kitayama, and somebody else.
Sungjae.
Sungjae. Okay. Sorry.
Today, it was just a biblical day. And it's a reminder that in the days leading up, that one astute, really, he's always on the ball, astute journalist was asking if he thought every player that came into the press room, if they thought 59 was possible at Augusta National.
I forgot about this.
So that was an article in a major golf publication leading into the week, and then Friday it's just a massacre.
Yeah. I don't think any player even indulged the notion that they could break 60.
No.
I don't think there was immediate sort of summary.
Everyone has. I think one player was like, "Have you been out on the course ever?"
Brooks was yeah, not kind to that proposal.
Here's a couple quotes about the day. EVR, I am tired. I feel like I got hit by a train just now. Rahm, a couple of times I'm questioning myself. Why were we out there? Especially when I got to 18. I saw the whole front of the green just full of sand. It's rolling a little bit different. I understand they want us to finish. I can imagine they were close to calling it a few times, especially when we were on 11 green and we were getting those massive gusts every couple minutes or so. It was extremely difficult. We got it in. Hopefully, I can make up some ground tomorrow. Do you remember you gave the Good Guy Jerry award to someone today?
Which is in honor of you watched Jerry McIlroy pick up a piece of trash and walk like 300 yards to a bag in a prior year.
Yes.
Who did I give it to this year? I can't remember.
Oh, you're a master of karate, friendship for everyone. Day man. Oh, fighter of the night man. Oh.
What was this for?
So you said it's blustery, it's blowing.
Yeah.
A rapper is on the ground inside the ropes, and you watched Jason Day trot to pick it up. It was not an easy feat because of the wind. Trotted to pick up the rapper and dispose of it. This is the Good Guy Jerry Award for Jerry McIlroy. The triple, as you call it, the Triple G Award goes to no other
Champion of the sun. Oh, you're a master of
Big Jason Day.
Living out the legacy of the Good Guy Jerry Award, picking up trash. Love
You
that.
had a breaking news, just a good Masters fact of the day.
What was that?
You break that there's two types of green jackets. So the green jackets that the Augusta National members wear, they have two choices. They can have both of them. They can have a sport mode jacket. They can have the sport jacket, a lighter material for the hot days. And then there's also the classic, the heavy wool version.
Yeah. Sport mode.
So they can
Like
go
the
into sport
Crocs.
mode when it's a hot weekend like we had at the Masters this week.
You were there. I didn't break that. Did we get that together? So I don't remember the
Yeah.
origin of that. Yeah. That
Oh,
was good. Sport mode.
You win the lottery for golf. This was a good day.
I forgot about that. Well, this would have been Friday. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So you get to play Augusta National. This is when the T-Swift Travis Kelce rumors start.
Oh.
This also is how I built my friendship with Dabo Sweeney. My good friend Dabo. The next day, this was the icebreaker that I used. College football coach, good friend Dabo, the friendship that was built around this rumor.
We're having lunch next to him, right, or something. And you went up. His daughter, or is it, who might be a Taylor Swift.
Well,
fan.
his friend, he's having lunch with Trevor Immelman.
Okay.
Friend of the program, Trevor.
Yeah.
And that gave us our door in. And then I started talking to Dabo and his family.
Yeah.
And brought it up. And the unfortunately the rumors. Dabo was like, oh, I know Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
He played football. He played football at Cincinnati. I was like, I bet you do. That's why I think I said that's why I was telling you. I figured you knew Travis Kelce.
Did not happen.
Then this was scuttlebutt that was picked up from a Berkman's employee on the ground.
Okay.
This was all about some sports stars and their tipping practices.
Okay.
Players that got a bad rap in Berkman's from the staff. Poor tipping. PJ, I don't want, if this surprises you or not, Jared Goff gets a bad rap.
Oh.
I can't say I'm surprised by that.
Oh, all right.
And none other than Chicago's own D Wade. Not Dean Wade, Cavalier star, Dwayne Wade. So they get bad raps for poor tipping practices and just general assholery. Rave reviews come in for Peyton Manning and Larry Fitz. Larry Fitz apparently left the biggest tip of anyone in Berkman's.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry
the wide
Fitzgerald.
receiver from the sandbagger, winner of the Pebble Beach Pro.
Yes.
I mean,
okay.
I've never encountered someone who said a bad word about Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Seems like a good dude.
So Peyton and Larry Fitz get rave reviews. Dwayne Wade and Jared Goff are on the outs of the Berkman's employees, and that does it for Friday.
Love that.
Are we going to finish by 1? I've got a hard stop at 1 here.
What do we got, PJ? How do we feel?
I can finish by 1. Well,
I'm going to throw out, you missed Wyndham's quote during the rain delay. He goes, we got 54 holes in Liv Golf. They only play 54, so I like my chances. We've got a lot of golf left.
Oh, the people, they still hate Wyndham for this.
Liv people just hammered him. And he didn't play well after this, and the Liv people said this was a curse that he put on himself. I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday.
This was like overnight into Saturday, relatedly to the Greg, because apparently he had to like get in himself. Fred Couples tweets 13 Liv players in the field for the Masters, and none of them could get Greg a ticket. Greg had to buy one. Next year, if you need one, Shark, let me know. That was a large
just stirring the pot. Couple.
I love when he comes off the top rope
on Twitter. Yep.
All right. Yep. So
it just like makes me, you know what it makes me think back to when we did the spotlight on Couples, and there were all the stories of him falling asleep on his couch watching sports.
Yeah, just sitting
like
there.
I just see him. I like have this visual of him, he would, fall asleep on Saturday night holding a 54-hole lead at 3 a.m. watching late night sports. I just have like this visual of him like slubbed in a couch sending off tweets.
All right, so Saturday we have 3 tied at the top: Max Homa, Bryson DeChambeau, Scottie Scheffler, Taylor and Travis rumored to show up. That gets you into Dabo. Brendan, do you remember your celebrity interaction that led the podcast on Saturday?
No.
Aaron Paul.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That was when we went up to lunch.
You said he was absolutely great.
He looked like a little kid going to Disney World for the first. He was just like kind of walking on eggshells, looking for tips. Good guy.
Yeah.
Why does this keep happening?
You can't keep getting away with it.
You can't keep
getting away with it.
He was great. Nice guy.
The Zach Johnson presser hits Twitter. TC tweets out that video that I had before. This kind of like breaks contain. Like Big Cat started tweeting about, has Zach Johnson always been such an asshole? Like, where did this come from?
It's outside the golf contain.
This Zach Johnson starts getting put on blast a little bit here. Tyrrell Hatton is paired with Tiger. They go out pretty early. Tiger birdies 5. Everybody gets excited. He doubles 8 for the first time ever at the Masters in his 99th round as the wheels start to come off. Will Knights has a tweet trying to find the nearest animal hospital.
Come on.
Close to Augusta National as Tiger's wheels start to come off on Saturday a little bit
Not
here.
fun to watch. Yeah.
No, all of the tweets. I guess I never consciously thought about this until today as I was going back. There are not a lot of tweets for the Masters because not a lot of people are tweeting because you don't have phones.
Yeah.
So the limited tweets out there were not good. The Tiger thing was just bad. Yeah. Everybody was upset about it. Scottie comes out fast, birdies the first hole for the solo lead with a chip in. He doubles 10 to open the door a bit, but then eagles 13 was the first eagle of the day at 13 to reclaim the solo lead from there. Colin Morikawa makes his presence known. Birdies the first 3 holes to get him into the final group for Sunday. Ludwig goes out in 33. The leaderboard, everybody just kind of takes a share of the lead and then immediately gives it up. No more than Nikolai Højgaard, who holds the solo lead after birdieing 8, 9, and 10 and proceeds to drop shots at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 18.
Just melted.
Absolutely wilted away.
Forgot about that.
You guys were
I feel like I remember him I feel like I was with that group and then it was just like he was gone.
You were debating whether Luke Donald or Dabo was a better scout of talent between Ludwig and Nikolai Højgaard. And then Nikolai kind of faded out.
Sounds like LD's more open to the transfer portal with the Liv guys
that is true.
Yeah.
Tyrrell Hatton, his post-round press conference, another banger. He doubles 18. He's 1 under heading to 18. He doubles 18 to shoot another round over par. Quote, I don't know what I have to do to shoot under par around here. He doesn't know what it will take to get good fortune and get a score he, quote, deserves at Augusta National. Quote, I'm putting on a brave face for what I want to talk about or say.
A brave face?
Yes.
Quote, deserves? Like, nobody deserves. That's a bad verb.
In this press conference, he asks the media what he needs to come back next year. He does not know that he needs the top 12. He doesn't seem ultimately incredibly invested in coming back next year. This guy just hates Augusta National with a burning passion. Numbers 13 through 15 for the contenders at the top. This is where Scottie kind of starts to close the door that he opened with his double on 10. Scottie plays those holes in 3 under. Morikawa and Homa even. Ludwig and Bryson 1 over. Nikolai Højgaard 3 over. So that proved to be the difference kind of today. Bryson has a tough time coming in. Kyle Porter tweet, great line from Vern on Bryson after he bogeyed number 16 to drop to 2 under. Quote, not only have the wheels come off, but the rims have fallen off too. Vern taking shots at Bryson on his way out. Bryson, Brendan, you tell this story that on 15, he pushes it way right to try to outsmart the golf course. He finds TIO for the second straight day, tries to drop twice, rolls closer to the hole. So he gets gets a perfect lie. And then his wedges are too long for the 65-foot shot.
Yeah,
so he kind of just
I remember watching that.
Right into the water.
That's a little bailout there, right? I mean, if you're really trying to just cross the hazard and get on that side. Yeah. Okay.
So Bryson says post round, I haven't been able to use my foresight on the putting green, which is another variable that gets thrown in, which is fine when asked why he 3-putt 16 and
so
almost
bad.
3-putt on 17. Andy, you spend like the first 15 minutes of the Saturday podcast just like popping him for saying I don't have my foresight, so I can't figure out how to putt out here.
They should ban the foresight on the putting green everywhere.
Yeah.
You also finally get your YouTube question into Bryson post round. You were upset that it would have been better.
They were calling on you
when he was
grumpy. He was grumpy,
but he was not happy about his finish. However, his finish was pretty good on the 18th hole as he holes out for 3. So he doesn't have to putt after 3-putting 16 and almost 3-putting 17. He holes out on 18.
I remember when I asked him, I said, you've been doing these series like the break 50, and he was like, yeah. And he like corrected one of the, I said like one of like the one club. He's like, oh yeah, one club challenge, and he like corrected me. He was so excited to talk about YouTube.
He loves content. So Scottie is in the group ahead of him. So Sky Sports has a camera on Scottie as Bryson holes out. This gets a lot of play on Twitter. Scottie is amazed by Bryson's finish to his round there. Colin Morikawa is in second place following the day. So Scottie is at 7 under. Colin is at 6. Max Homa, a birdie-free 73, only bogeys 12, but is hanging around in solo third at 5 under. Ludwig at 4 under. Bryson at 3 under. Xander, Cam Davis, and Nikolai at 2 under. Xander got a lot of house cat conjecture on the podcast and Twitter for kind of just hanging around and goes 72, 72, 70. He's just in the area. He was walking around, little did we know what was going to happen from there. 70 on Saturday jumps him 9 spots up the leaderboard. Colin Morikawa was the only player to break par in all 3 rounds to that point. He said post-round, interesting note on the putting because the greens were so fast and dried out. At a certain point, you can't use aim point. You have to make artwork happen on the greens because he said he was struggling using the aim point that he had used for a couple of years out there. Tiger with a 10 over 82, his worst ever round at Augusta on Saturday. Bryson,
or am I thinking of another one?
Nope. He finishes for the first time since the November 2020 Masters. Finishes a tournament. Plays with Neil Shipley on Sunday. Catnip Central.
Yep.
with Neil Shipley in Butler Cabin doing the eyes darting back and forth. Weird press conference from Neil Shipley as somebody asked what Tiger handed him on the 8th hole. And Neil Shipley looks to the green jacket running his press conference as if he's not supposed to say something, and then just says that didn't happen when it very clearly did. And then they end the press conference from there. So everybody
Forgot
was
about that.
very
Well, we saw it. It's like a ZJ, its own spin, own version of ZJ.
yeah.
Okay.
Tiger brings Charlie out on the range as his swing coach.
That's cool. That's cool visual.
Charlie's holding the clubs and trying to get his hands in the right spot, and everybody is happy to see Tiger out there finishing a tournament for the first time in 4 years. Gets the Vern pictures, the hand
that was
picture.
Incredible.
Vern's sitting in the folding chair behind the tree.
They didn't get him up into the tower.
This is early. This is way early. Tiger's just trying to get out of Dodge.
Broadcast not on yet. Yeah.
He was one of the first groups out. Max on Saturday, entering Sunday. These get played big on Sunday morning. 2 quotes from Max. People are asking, birdie free round, but still in it. Solo third. Quote, I'm going to remind myself I'm a dog and that I'm ready for this moment. End quote. And then his other quote, if I catch myself thinking about what could go wrong, I let myself dream about what could go right.
That was a big one.
So everybody is excited for Max to be in contention at a major for really the first time. Tiger re-tees on 5, hits 3 tee shots. He finds the original ball after hitting a provisional, but the ball is so far in the woods that it is completely unplayable and cannot take a drop. So he has to take a solitary cart ride back to the tee on 5 that there's just screenshots of him riding by himself back to the tee. Everybody is very, very sad about this whole Tiger thing. Not great. Tyrrell Hatton yet again has some Sunday quotes that everybody like. Hold on. I have a visual aid for this.
Tyrrell Hatton.
He
needs a special exemption.
Can't help himself from quoting about Augusta. The 15th hole. That hole lives rent-free in my head. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And I think it hates me with the scores that I end up producing on it.
Guy hates a lot.
Guy does not like Augusta National. So once the leaders start to go out on Sunday here, Cam Smith starts hot. Eagles number 2 with a bunker hole out to kind of put himself in the 3 under range, same as Bryson. Max and Ludwig make early birdies on 2. Bryson birdies 4 and 5. Everybody starts out playing pretty well early. Ludwig is very, very, very hot. Birdie 7, ties for second place, which turns into first place at 6 under when Scottie bogey 7. The top 4 are all on the 9th hole. Scottie and Colin Morikawa are 7 under. Ludwig and Max are 6 under. Ludwig makes the turn and gets his snack hit out of his hand by a patron.
I remember this.
And this turns into kind of the beginning of the end here for him. He was not, I think it was like a protein bar, it looked like. He's going down. He's happy. Birdie's 9. He's high-fiving everybody, and a protein bar gets smacked out of his hand. Kind of pauses, laughs about it, but that ended up being kind of a pivotal moment. Scottie behind him, birdies 9 to get back into the solo lead. It would stay there for him. Max hits a great shot into 10 to get to 7 under, now tied for second with Ludwig. Scottie birdies 10 to go up by 2 on Max and Ludwig. Ludwig finds the water at 11.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
10.
Makes his double to kind of pause his charge. Then Max goes into the bushes on 12 to make a double bogey from there. Now 3 back of Scottie. That pretty much wraps it up for everybody. Scottie is so far aligned on 11 and 12, like playing so far away from any potential danger in the water that, like on TV, I thought I screenshotted this. But I don't know where it is. Too many visual aids. His alignment is like so far away from any potential danger because he's just trying to stay out of the water and avoid disaster there. Max hits a 3-wood on 13 instead of a driver and doesn't immediately try to chase those shots that he lost, doubling 12 back. That was a big, like, kind of Twitter conjecture. People are saying he was protecting the points by not trying to push it. And you guys on the Sunday podcast say that, he couldn't shape the driver around there, so that's why he had to hit a 3-wood, and that's the difference in the hole now. But people really wanted him to kind of push that and try to get there. Ludwig bounces back well from his water ball on 11. Birdie's 14 to get 2 back, 7 under through Scotty's 9 under. Scotty birdies 14 to make it a 3-shot lead. Birdie 16 to make it a 4-shot lead to wrap it up. Tommy Fleetwood has a local caddy and finishes T3 for a big Wikipedia yellow square. The local caddy was a big,
of course. Yeah, that was big. Ian Finnis can go.
A big storyline. Colin is asked by Amanda Balionis post round what went wrong for him after a 74 on Sunday. He says, I got greedy and was just honest about trying to do too much and take it away from Scotty, even though he's only 1 shot back to start. Ludwig, runner up in his major debut. Scotty shoots a 68, wins his second green jacket.
That's crazy. It's major debut. Never played in a major. Runner up. That's nuts.
So Scotty has a bunch of quotes about, golf isn't everything to him, and he's finding solace in that. I like this one. I grabbed
Sean Martin. You say constantly that your identity is not in your golf scores. What is it about winning and competing then that you find satisfying?
That's a really good question. I was sitting around with my buddies this morning. I was a bit overwhelmed because I told them, I was like, I wish that I didn't want to win as badly as I did, or as badly as I do. I think it would make the mornings easier. But I love winning. I hate losing. I really do. And when you're here in the biggest moments, when I'm sitting there with the lead on Sunday, I really, really want to win badly. And my buddies told me this morning, my victory was secure on the cross. And that's a pretty special feeling. To know that I'm secure for forever, and it doesn't matter, whether or not I win this tournament or if I lose this tournament. My identity is secure for forever.
So that gets thrown around. He also says that he loves winning the golf tournament. I feel like professional golf is an endlessly not satisfying career. For instance, in my head, all I can think about right now is going home because Meredith did not travel. Obviously,
didn't go into labor either.
Not going to
all
labor.
The hype and
so Scotty finishes the tournament, wins, goes home, and is then, where is this screenshot? I like this
he's
one.
at some dive bar, right, in Dallas?
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Nope, not that one. I'm falling apart here.
You're all right. You're fine.
He's now number 2 on Data Golf following the Masters in terms of peak players. So this furthers the Tiger comp everything there. And then I do have the dive bar in Dallas, goes home and immediately celebrates at some random bar in the Dallas area. Then to finish it off in pure SGS
fashion.
What's
that guy doing to it? Is he looking at the jacket?
Jacket, yeah.
I don't
Do you
remember.
think he had sport mode there? Looks like sport mode.
Looks like.
I don't remember the full story that is attached to this, but Gary Player is at the Atlanta airport in his blue jacket that you guys alluded to on the Sunday podcast.
Oh, he wouldn't wear his he didn't wear his green jacket in the clubhouse, right? Where he's allowed to wear it as a former champion or a current champion. Isn't that it, Andy? Wasn't that the story?
Yeah, I think so.
I hate this Slater. I don't like the way I look. He's wearing a blueberry coat.
I think it probably goes back to his arguments with the Masters.
Yeah.
Bright blue jacket.
What if whatever 40 people in the world or
what
whatever.
Did he say about the Masters like a couple weeks ahead?
He said like it's his 4th match. Is he rank it 4th in majors maybe or something like that?
Yeah,
So,
he said something ridiculous before the Masters too.
Wearing his blue coat around the grounds. That's right. We had a picture from somebody caught him in the Atlanta airport and sent it in. Visual aid.
so that's what I've got for Masters weekend there. Scottie wins again. Congrats to Scottie.
Pretty
it's a
good.
Theme of the year.
One thing we forgot that I got a message from while this recording's going on from we forgot about the Pavantourage. Pavan had like an entourage of like 8 or 9 people with him at all times.
Of course he did. I had this was big. This still gets brought up. This is Ludwig's face making a meme face after birdieing 9.
Sure.
We have another Ludwig meme at Pinehurst too. So a lot of.
All right. We're like 40% through. We're grinding. We're grinding. We are going to be up next on Friday. We're going to do up to PGA, I believe. And then we'll be done. We're getting this done before Christmas. We're ahead of pace for many prior years. So maybe taking a little longer, but not by a ton. We will be back.
Thank you to everybody.
Thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in live. Keep comment section will be open on Friday as well for a Chaplin bag. We're going to combine them between today and Friday live show. We'll talk about when are we going to
The live show is going to be Thursday though.
Thursday.
Yes.
Will be Thursday at some point. We'll set a time for that.
Got to figure that out.
Get a Chaplin bag for comment of the day or comment of the week. That's a good bag. We will talk to you then for your interview part 5.